The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Yes, guys, happy. What day is it today? Today is, I think, today's Thursday. So happy Thursday to everybody out there in the world. It's been like 5 days since I've been live. So look, I came here to break the monotony, to break the little bit of a minor drought. I wanted to come in and just check in with people, talk some boxing, kill some time because, we got a very interesting 2 weeks ahead of us on True School Sports and just in life. So while I got these very precious moments of just like not doing anything, I figured we talk some boxing because as you guys know, I'm still in Vegas. I'm still in Las Vegas. I've been very busy. I was covering the Inaway fight. Yesterday, I was in LA with Sean Zattel. Me and him made the drive to Los Angeles from Las Vegas to go to the press conference for Caleb Plant, Mondo Resendiz, along with Jamal Charlo and Thomas Cornflake Lamana. So the content for that is out there. All the content from the Inaway fight is out there. And we look forward to the next adventure on True School Sports. And you guys will be hearing about that later on in a video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But listen, drop your comments down below if y'all got any questions, any comments, anything that's on your mind about boxing. Just put it in the comments section, and then we'll definitely have some fun talking. I'll let you guys kind of steer where this is gonna go, because I don't really have a topic that I want to talk about specifically. So whatever you guys drop in the comments, that's what we're gonna talk about. Do me a favor though, guys. There's 6 of you here. Smash that like button so this video gets pushed out to as many people as possible. A lot of people always complain about, they say, oh, BT True School, you don't go live no more. We missed the lives. Well, listen, I'm live right now. So if you're here right now and you want me to continue to go live, smash the like button so that this video gets pushed out, so we get people in here, so that I feel like, I have a reason to keep coming back and doing these lives, We're here. We got got our first comment of the live. Shout out to my boy, 1988 Eagles fan. He says, let's talk about your South Florida boy Teofimo and his latest antics. What is your opinion, BT? I don't like it. I don't like what he's saying. It's like ridiculous. Like I understand we live in a very like sensitive climate in the world, but like, listen, man, who gives a damn about who's sensitive and who's not? You can't be throwing around certain words like that over and over again and not expect repercussions. So listen, if he chooses that's how he wants to market himself and be an example to the world and kids, then that's his cross to bear, and that he has to take that up with God and whatever. But yeah, I don't agree with what he said when he was hitting the punching bag. I think he's a cornball for that. In that regard, I like Tio, but he's a cornball for how he keeps trying to stir the pot with race. And I understand that ethnicity and race has always been a part of like boxing, so I get it. But you can find better ways to market yourself than that. And I think it's corny. It honestly, it makes Tio look bad, and it sets a bad example because, I come from South Florida, as you mentioned, and a lot of the young kids in South Florida who go to these amateur gyms like Davy Powell or Extreme Body Works, just any amateur gym in South Florida, a lot of those kids look up to Tio Lopez, and a lot of those kids might be black kids. So you're really not setting a good example. So I think it's terrible. Those are my thoughts on it. How do I feel about Raymond Murataya versus Zaur Abdullah this weekend? It's a good fight. They're gonna be out there in San Diego. Look, Zaur, he beat Hoy Linares. He's had a couple decent wins. But listen, Raymond Murataya, I think the blueprint is already out there on him. We know what kind of opponents beat Raymond Murataya. The kind of opponents that, not beat him, but give him, because he hasn't lost yet, but that give him the hardest trouble are movers. Guys that can box, move, counterpunch, sharpshoot. These are the kind of guys that give him issues. But, if you go in there and you exchange and you're a front foot dominant fighter, you're not going to, Raymond, that's Raymond's game. That's Raymond's domain, so to speak. So I would expect Raymond to come through the fight this weekend with, a good win and building up towards a world title shot, potentially. And I'll tell you this, if he don't beat Zaur Abdullah, then you guys know what we say about Raymond Murataya. We're going to have to break the E word out on him. Even if I don't want to, we're going to be saying, exposed! So, we can't be doing that. Let me see who else we got here. Enrique Luna, shout out to you, my friend. Longtime viewer. He says, let's go, Brendan. Atmosphere in Las Vegas, was it hype? Yeah, it was good. It wasn't It wasn't a big crowd. It was like a 8,414, I think was the official number we got in the media from Top Rank. So it wasn't a bad. It wasn't like the biggest crowd I've been to for a fight at the T-Mobile Arena, but man, it was a spirited crowd. I mean, you had a lot of Japanese people who did make the trip to America, and then you had a lot of Asian Americans. You had a lot of just boxing fans. I wanted to see Inaway, and you know, it was a spirited crowd. It was sometimes, guys. It's not about the number of people you have in the crowd. It's about the passion that the number of people in the crowd actually have. And the 8,000 that were there, that shit felt like 15, 20,000. When Ramon Cardenas got put on his, or when Inouye got put on his ass by Cardenas, it felt like 18 to 20,000. And I felt like that was one of the probably the best, one of the more like this whole fight, not just that moment, but this whole fight was one of the best things I've seen while sitting at press row for fights in Vegas. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Luis Hernandez, and shout out to Luis Hernandez, a featherweight prospect. You know, was he 4-0 now? Probably one of my favorite fighters in boxing, and definitely someone that you know, even as an older person, and there's some things I look up to him about. You know, great work ethic and great mindset towards life in boxing. He says, not cool from Tio, and he's disappointed. Yeah, like he's just going too far, and like again. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but you know, we have freedom of speech in America, but that freedom of speech doesn't equal freedom of consequences. So look, he may catch himself in front of the wrong person one day, and bad things may happen to him. But that's his cross to bear. Shout out to Johnny. He says, "Yeah, give my boy BT some money." That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, super chat. Lord Zed says, "Hey BT, what's good, Lord Zed? Good to see you, champ. Hope all is well. Always nice to see you in the chat, Lord Zed. See No More MMA says, yo, what's up, BT? Leafs have got your Panthers on the ropes. They definitely do, man. I'm not too encouraged about the series right now. I'm very frustrated because, you know, a lot of our star players are not playing up to their abilities, and Sergei Bobrovsky looks every bit the age of 37, but never underestimate the heart of a champion. The Panthers have been down 2-0 before in the last couple of years in series, and they've come back and they've won. And South Florida, when the Panthers play in South Florida, it's one of the best home ice advantages in the NHL. It's become that over the last couple of years. So I think they'll find a way. I still believe my Panthers, man. Until we lose 4 games, I'll never quit on this team. But yeah, it hasn't been encouraging. The Leafs are playing with a purpose right now. Is Pops going to be joining us today? No, he won't, because I'm in Las Vegas right now and he's not. So it'll just be solo dolo. So y'all have to stomach me for however long I decide to be here today. So get your questions in. Smash that like button. Listen, man, there's 24 of you. How I only got 7 likes and there's 24 people? Like, don't be stingy, man. Y'all hit that like button so this video gets pushed out. You know, because there's some big things coming out here on True School Sports. If you paid any attention to anything I posted on Instagram today, you know, you'll have an idea of what I'm talking about, but there will be an official announcement of what I'm talking about in about 4 or 5 hours. There's a video scheduled. So, yeah. Who should Richard Torres Jr. fight next? That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe like he just fought Guido, so maybe he can. I know. I heard my boy Johnny mention that Torres versus Efe Ajagba would be a good fight. I would like that fight. I think that's a good fight for him. A-Book50 says, apparently Vargas declined a Shushu fight for the vacant WBC title, so who will give him a title shot? So let's explore that, because I don't know exactly how he could deny Shushu a title shot. I mean, he's the champion in recess, but that he's not the actual like champion, because Stephen Fulton is the champion. He hasn't officially vacated the belt yet. So as far as that situation, I mean, look, Ray Vargas is pretty whack, and he's been whack for a long time, for a couple of years now. Good fighter, but he's kind of whack with how he's moving. So I think it'll still be with the WBC, and I would anticipate that you see Shushu probably fight Carlos Castro for the vacant belt if Stephen Fulton vacates. If not that, then the most realistic fight to make would be him versus Rafael Espinoza. So I know people have been criticizing Espinoza, saying he's ducking Shushu, but I don't think Espinoza himself is ducking Shushu. I think that's Zanford Promotions. I think that's Fernando Beltran. They're trying to rack up these title defenses and make Espinoza look as good as possible to make him the star of the division. Because I'll tell you this right now, he had a pretty big contingent of that crowd in Vegas this past weekend, and he is becoming a bigger star as the fights go on. I would say he's definitely, of the champions, the most popular fighter in the division. So they want to continue to build upon that. But I would like to see that fight. I think Espinoza needs to be in that fight with Carrington. Carrington wants his shot. He wants to get the notoriety that he feels he's capable of getting by beating a guy like that. So make that fight. It's an in-house fight. If they can't do that fight, then I would say the most realistic fight for Bruce Carrington would probably be a WBA final eliminator fight with the number one contender, Mirko Quayle, because Mirko Quayle is the mandatory right to ball, but the WBA could order him versus Carrington, so that maybe that's a possibility as well. But as far as him fighting Angelo Leo, I don't think it'll happen unless he has a title. You know, Angelo Leo has a title defense due up here in about 16 days. So the best featherweight in the world will be back in the ring in 16 days. In Osaka, Japan. He has to defend against the mandatory Tomoki Kameda. So we can't even talk about what's going on with Angelo until he gets his mandatory out of the way. Stephen Fulton is probably going to move up. So I'm thinking it has to be Espinoza. I don't see why Espinoza versus Shushu can't happen next, but that's my answer. KG Steve, shout out to him with the super chat. Make sure y'all follow KG Steve's leave and pay that tuition to True School Sports. He says, blessings, True School. Rolly is the GOAT. Yes, shout out to Rolly. I saw Rolly yesterday. You know, he was in good spirits. He had cupcakes, and he was really happy about the Ryan Garcia win. He even said that he was in love. You know, life is good. The grass is green, and the girls are pretty in Rolly's life right now. So good for him. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Personally, there's all this talk about Rolly having to fight Mario or Mario Barrios fighting Manny Pacquiao. I want to see Rolly versus Manny Pacquiao. To be honest with you, like, all respect to the brother Mario Barrios, but if I had it my way, let's have Rolly fight Manny Pacquiao. Why not? You know, there's no right and wrong in boxing these days. It's all about what makes money, right? So that'll make money. Lord Zed says, bro, I swear when Bob Borowski was a rookie in the Flyers, I think he was 19. I said he wanted to stand a cup with him. It didn't happen, but I knew he would be great. I'm not a hockey guy, but I know a little bit. Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, legend, but he's been pretty trash this series. He's probably been, along with Carter Verhaeghe, the number one reason why the Panthers are down 0-2 to the Maple Leafs right now. So hopefully both those guys pick it up because we need those guys. I still believe. Navarrete or Suarez? Oh, man. It's going to be a good one, man. It's going to be a good one. I haven't thought too deeply about it. I'll be honest with you guys. If I'm being perfectly honest with you guys, I'm kind of overlooking everything on the schedule because in my mind, you know, Angelo Leo's title defense is due soon, so that's what I'm zeroing in on. But as far as that fight, you got two volume punchers. We don't know how much Vaquero has left, and we don't know if Vaquero's going to eventually fall off a cliff because he's been in a lot of wars. So maybe this could be that fight for him. Suarez is a bit long in the tooth as far as his age. He needs to win this fight because it's now or never. He's in his 30s already, so he needs to win this fight. I think it'll be an action-packed fight. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I'm gonna go with Vaquero, you know, until proven otherwise. My man A Buck says, give me the Leo versus Espinoza unification. That'd be fireworks. Yeah, I'm begging for that fight. I mean, we gotta take care of Kameda, but after that, you know, I would like to fight Espinoza within the next, you know, 6 to 8 months, if possible. Shout out to everybody. Let me see who else we got here. Eagles fan says, is there any truth on Manny Pacquiao coming out of retirement to fight Mario Barrios? Yeah, man, I've been asking around about it here in Vegas, and it seems like it's gonna happen. So we'll see. They're gonna fight. I just saw the report on ESPN before I got on here. Pacquiao and Vargas are gonna fight supposedly on July 19th, which is also the same day as Bam Rodriguez versus Fumalele Kafu. So listen. Shout out to Pacquiao. He's a boxing legend. I got all the respect in the world for Manny Pacquiao. But I'm not going to go to his fight against Barrios because it's a shit show. I'm gonna go to the real boxing card. I'm going to go to the July 19th card in Texas. I'm going to go see Bam versus Kafu in the unification fight. And then I'm going to go see Diego Pacheco and Sharon McCumbee beat the shit out of each other. That's the card of July 19th. Pacquiao versus Barrios is a farce. Falling Star, shout out to Falling Star, a long-time viewer from Japan. He says, what are your feelings on the Inaway Vegas gate numbers? Going up in the future or not, you feel, BT? I think, look, I take the Inaway event numbers with a grain of salt. I think people have been very quick to jump on the fact that he only sold just south of 8,500 tickets. I think that's a good number because for a couple of reasons. I'm gonna tell you guys why I think that's a good number. Now, you guys know when an event flops or doesn't when an event flops or doesn't actually like do well, I'll be the first one to tell you, yo, this event flopped. It deserved to flop. This, that, and the third. First and foremost, his fight was like one of many all week. So you had divided attention. You know, you had Canelo fighting in Saudi, the Times Square card. That actually took away from his event a little bit. That's number one. And then number two, you had also the fact that the fight was on a Sunday. So look, people got jobs, man. People got jobs and they got kids and they got families that the kids that go to school and families to tend to. Sunday is the rest day to get ready for the week. People in America are not gonna go a lot on Sunday. There's gonna be people in America that are not gonna go to a fight at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever at night because they have to go to work the next day. They had to take their kids to school the next day. So with all the boxing going on, the fight being on a Sunday, and the fact that now Inouye is still building his name here in the States, 8,414 is a good number. So I'm not knocking it. I think if they put his fight on a week where there's not like other stars fighting and other quote unquote mega cards, you'll get a higher number than that. But for the circumstances, 8,414 is a good number for me. I think Nakatani could be the one to beat Inouye. What do you think? He's one of the ones. I think I've been saying it for a long time. Steady Wave. If you've ever listened to me talk about Inouye and the guys that I think I can beat that can beat him around 122 and 126. I've always told you guys it's only two guys that I genuinely believe can beat Inouye at 122 and 126. At 122, that guy is Junta Nakatani, him, and then at featherweight it's Angelo Leo, and I stick to that. I don't care what anybody says. That's my conviction. That's my belief. Junto or Angelo, whoever takes his I think it'll be one of those two guys. So Junto's gonna get him first. I'm gonna lean towards what's his name, Inouye, because the fight's at 122. But if it was if it was at featherweight, if Junto could fight Inouye at featherweight, then I would lean towards Junto. But those are the two guys I think have the best chance against him. What do you think of Makina Nakano? First time watching him fight. I like Makina Nakano. If you go back and you look at my video archives, I think my first video I made about Nakano was about 5 or 6 months ago, and I actually covered one of his fights when I was in Japan. His fight that he had right before this one on the Inouye undercard. He fought at Corkin Hall when I was out there in Japan, and I did a video on him back then. Very strong fighter, southpaw, power puncher, explosive, leaves his head a bit on the center line a little bit, so I think higher level fighters could take advantage of that, but you got to be able to handle and be durable enough to handle what he dishes out to you and have the craft to box around him. But he's going to be a tough out for anybody in the featherweight division, whether it's Angelo Leo or Bruce Carrington or Espinoza or whoever. He's a problem, I think, because right now, let me see. If you look at the rankings across all 4 sanctioning bodies from Japan, you got a lot of Japanese fighters that are not champions but are contenders. You got Tomohiro Kameda, who's fighting Angelo. You got Mikita Nakano. You got Rhea Abbey, the former world title challenger. You got who else you got? You got you had Kaosuke Matsumoto, but he just got suspended by the JBC because he missed weight, so he doesn't count anymore. You got Ryuto Owan, who he got an upset victory over, I think it was Jong Song Kang from South Korea, if I'm not mistaken. So he's in the mix now. Kenji Fujita, slick southpaw. There's like 5 or 6 Japanese featherweight contenders, but I would say, from what I know about the Japanese featherweights, that Mikita Nakano is hands down the best one. Kenji Fujita, pillow-fisted. He's not going to beat anybody at the top level because he don't got the he doesn't have the power or the craft to do that against the top guys. I think he's the best of the Japanese featherweights for sure right now. Who else we got? Espinoza is a hard fight for anybody at 126. They gotta be pressed publicly. We all know Espinoza's team are acting scary. Yeah, listen, the play from them. I'm gonna tell you guys this. I know his team really well. I know one guy from his team very, very well. And they're good people. Like I like them, but my impression of talking to them is that like they know that they're trying to like everyone at featherweight is trying to get that Inaway, trying to be in the best position for the time Inaway gets up to them to featherweight to fight them, right? Bob Arum, as you guys have seen, not just this past week, but in the past when I've asked him about these potential matchups at featherweight, he hasn't really been the most keen on making these fights. Um, so they're all gonna play this game of building themselves up, right? And I think that Espinosa's team's going to continue to pick, guys that they can look good against, like Edward Vasquez and Sergio Trino Sanchez. And the best you could hope for, I think, with Espinosa, matchmaking-wise, would probably be Bruce Carrington. I think that's the fight to make. I don't think we'll get Angelo because Angelo has to do this mandatory. And then, maybe there could be unification, but just from what I know about, because I know, I'm part of Team Leo, so I know things, and I know things about Espinosa's team. From what I know about both teams and both parties, I don't foresee that fight happening in 2025. Maybe like spring of 26, it could happen. So like when Inaway fights Espinosa, or no, when Inaway fights Nakatani, because I think they were saying Inaway will fight Nakatani in May of next year at the Tokyo Dome. I would think that Angelo and Espinosa happen somewhere around that time frame, just provided as long as they both have the belt still. So that's what I think. That's my realistic timetable. I just want the truth says. BT, remember when I asked you who was the black fighter that made his pro debut in Japan under Kameda's team? His name is John Paul Masake Kameda. Masaba, apparently he's with Team Kameda. Okay, shout out to him. Let me see. What's his name? Masake Kameda? Masake. I never heard of him. But I'll tell you this, man. Tomoki Kameda is about to get fucking drilled when we go to Japan. I'll tell you that much, respectfully. I'll tell you that right now. When we go to when Angelo goes to Japan and they step in the ring, Tomoki Kameda has been, he's gonna get his. John Paul Masaba, Masai Kameda. Okay. Shout out to Tito Donis with the second super chat of the live. Thank you. He says, if you could Dragon Ball Fusion. Oh, see, this is a good question. If you could Dragon Ball two fighters, make a complete fighter, who would you fuse? I'm thinking Mayweather and Pacquiao, Shakur and Tank. Oh, this is easy. If I can Dragon Ball fuse two fighters, I'm gonna go with I want Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather's like speed and combinations, and then I want the punching power of George Foreman together. That's what I want. Or I want the counter punching. We'll go with this one. I'll go with that one, and then I'll go for counter punch for the other one. I'll say I want James Toney's counter punching defense, and then I want Angelo Leo's volume punching. Or yeah, I'll go with that. Mayweather and Foreman, and then give me James Toney and Angelo. They have to be in the same weight class or a weight class. Oh, okay. So then I can't do those then. All right. So that okay. So let me think about that. Around the same weight. Okay. Give me because I'll go with two of my favorite fighters. I'll say, give me the mid range. Give me the mid range explosiveness and punch selection of Naoya Inaway, and then give me the inside fighting of Angelo Leo. And I think you got a perfect fighter. I'll go with that. That'd be like the best offensive fighter ever. Or you can give me the speed of Jairo Pataya, and then give me the punching power of Deontay Wilder. There you go. We'll go with that. Since we're only doing a weight class different. TSM Harden says, while at the event, we sat next to people associated with Espinosa, and they introduced us to Espinosa family. They were very nice. No, I'm gonna tell you guys this, man. I love Rafael Espinosa. Like, if I'm part of Team Leo. I love Angelo Leo. So, of course, anybody against Angelo, they gotta get drilled. They gotta get beat up. It's part of the business. But Espinosa is one of my favorite fighters because he just gets it. Like he's a true champion in every sense of the word. Like from the way he fights in the ring to just how he conducts himself outside of it. With a lot of these fighters I've seen, especially like bigger names, sometimes I've seen fighters not take pictures with the fans or think like they're too good for the fans. But Espinoza, bro, I'm telling you guys, I've covered 3 Rafael Espinoza fights. I covered him when he won the title against Probasi. I covered him when he made his first defense against Sergio Chirino, and I covered him against Edward Vasquez. And each time he's been the same person. The same person. He takes pictures with every last fan. He signs every last autograph. He does what he can to make sure that everyone is able to you know, talk to him. He's a champion. Like, he just carries himself as a champion, and I love that about him. And as long as he don't fight Angelo, I wish him the best. You know, I want him to do very, very well in boxing. Looks like Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios is a done deal this July. Yeah, it is. It is. And you know, hopefully it's a good fight. I mean, I'm not really a big Barrios guy, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't really think many people are. I'm not being disrespectful, but I've never heard anybody say, "Hey, Mario Barrios is fighting tonight." I've never heard nobody say that. That's not a sentence I've ever heard anybody say. And if they have said that, it's probably like a family member or somebody from San Antonio. Like, I've never heard anybody say that. I've only heard people say, you know, he's fighting, but never. It's always Mario Barrios is fighting, but never, man, Mario Barrios is fighting. You know, so that's how I feel. Johnny said he's a great guy. I spoke to him and told him we want the smoke. They didn't seem too excited. Who are you referencing, Johnny? Hyro says PBC is back with a pay-per-view star like Manny Pacquiao. You know Manny sells more than boots. Barrios fought nothing but on pay-per-view. A gate in Vegas is different than a gate in Philly. These are true. This isn't like, I'm not arguing. It will be a good event. I think it'll be an amazing event. But I'm a boxing purist, so give me the Bam Kafu fight. Give me the Pacheco versus Kwakumbi card. I like that card better. The welterweight division is so weak that Manny Pacquiao is unretiring. That's how bad the division is. You know what? Wouldn't it be funny, guys? Let's just look ahead for a second, right? Could you guys imagine if Manny Pacquiao beats Barrios and then Jin Suzuki beats Brian Oman, and then we have Japan versus the Philippines? We have old ass Manny Pacquiao against young ass Jim Suzuki in an Asia welterweight super fight for the titles. Imagine that for a second. Ponder that one. BT Kyoto says, BT, do you think that the WBO will take that Inaway money or strip him if he beats Ball? If he beats Ball, I think if he beats Ball, will they strip him of what? Will they strip him of the other titles? Like at 122? Look, man, I think like Inaway is becoming like a Canelo around these weight classes. He's gonna try to dictate everything. He's got all the money behind him, so I would go with the latter. And Johnny's saying that he spoke to Rafael Espinoza and his manager. Yeah, look, man, I just think they're gonna do whatever they can to make him a big star, and I don't think those plans include unification, unfortunately. So that's just what it is. How do you think Mikito Nakano and Shushu Carrington fight will play out? Oh, I love that fight. I think that's a dynamite fight, man. I think that's one of them fights. Like, if you're top rank, if you really want to know what you have in Shushu Carrington, and I've been saying this for like months now. I've been saying that if you want to know what you have truly in Shushu Carrington, you either make him, you make Shushu against Odubek Komatov, which I think is an amazing fight. Or I think this fight. I think either one of those two fights, you put Shushu in one of those two fights. If Shushu go in there and he dominate either one of those two guys, then you know that now for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that this is definitely a guy that can go on to become a world champion for sure. It's not just now hearsay. He's now being like a dangerous top contender. Because let's be real, like, I like Shushu. Love like. Let me really emphasize this. As a person outside the ring, I love Bruce Carrington. Like, that's an amazing person. Like, the salt of the earth, great dude. Wish him nothing but, like, $1 million paydays and nothing but success and prosperity and just all the best things in life. Unless he fights Angelo. Then it's different because I'm part of the team. But other than that, yeah, like, I wish him nothing but the best. But like he did, we all saw the Suleiman Sagawa fight, and a lot of people were, including myself, looked at that fight as a loss for him, right? So I think he needs to fight someone. Either he either needs to fight him in a rematch and make that right, beat him more decisively, or he got to fight Nakano or Komatov. Those are fight because I want to see him in a fight against a high level contender again before he fights for a title. But that's just me. If they can make the Espinosa fight, good. We'll see if he can rise to the occasion and beat Rafael Espinosa. But if that's not gonna happen, then you got to get creative with your top rank, and you got to make him versus Odebek. You got to make him versus Nakano. So yeah, I love that fight, and I think Nakano causes damn near everyone at featherweight a problem because of how explosive he is. I hate how Japanese fans see about Naoya like that. One dropping seems so big deal for them as the opponent to the result. As far as him getting knocked down, I mean, look, it's boxing. It's a contact sport. Any fighter, I don't care who it is, can get dropped at any singular moment in the ring. So, you know, I'm not making a big deal about it. It's about what do you do when you get knocked down? Do you fold under the pressure, or do you bite down and fight harder? He tends to always bite down and fight harder. So, you know, you got to give him his credit where credit is due. Do I got indigenous American blood? I don't know if I do. I don't really care. I mean, I know my dad's Puerto Rican, my mom's Dominican and Cuban, so I don't know if that qualifies. But I don't know. I don't really care, man. I'm a human being, and I was born in the States, and that's all that matters. Shushu struggles versus Southpaws. Komatov is a bad style for him. Well, look, you're not going to avoid fighting Southpaws forever. Whether it's, you know, at some point you have to fight a high-level Southpaw. Like, to me, if a fighter is truly the goods, he should be able to handle every and any style, you know? Kyoto says, oh, did you see the new Ring Magazine Power Pound? They didn't do Kenshiro dirty. No, I did not, but since you brought it up, let me go ahead and let me go give it a look because, you know, that was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was that they were going to kick Kenshiro off the list, who just got on the list, who should have been on the list for years, for Jaron Ennis, which I would have, man, they would have did that shit. I would have had a lot of people in Philadelphia pissed off at me. But let me go give it. Let me go give it a look myself, and let me go see what they did because, you know, they can't be out here messing with the amazing boy. So Kenshiro is number 9. I like that. That's a good spot for him. I have Kenshiro a little bit higher. I don't think like they got Junto Nakatani and Bam Rodriguez at number 7 and 6. I don't think Junto Nakatani or Bam Rodriguez should be above Kenshiro right now. Junto hasn't fought enough high level competition to be above Kenshiro, and neither has Bam. So they gotta both be below him. I think 7 is the perfect spot for Kenshiro, but they got him at 9. I'm okay with that. They got Dea Benavidez at number 10. So that's interesting. Benavidez getting some pound for pound love and some pound for pound critical acclaim, which is, you know, that's a bit surprising to me because, you know, Ring is owned by Turkey, Al Sheikh in Saudi Arabia. But look, I mean, to be fair, they're allowing a PBC fighter to be on the pound for pound list. So that's some fairness. Ghost Rider says, it was good to see you at the weigh-in event in Las Vegas. Wish I could have caught you at the stadium. What an awesome event to attend. At the weigh-in. Okay, I don't remember. I mean, I don't know who Ghost Rider is, but good to see you, man. Refresh my memory. I met a lot of people this week, so I can't remember everybody. But if I met you in Vegas this past week, it was an absolute pleasure. Yo, Kenshiro, my pound for pound number 6. Me and BT got a running joke. Yeah, it's a years long joke. Johnny's number 6 is always the real number 1 on his list. Why won't you go to PBC? You want to go to Bam vs. Crawford because it's cheap. Hyro, I don't give a fuck about money. You know this. I don't give a damn about spending money. I spend money like it's water. For good, better, and different, I spend money like it's water. I'm not rich, but I'll spend money like it's water. I got no problem spending money. I'm going because it's a better fight. I'm going because it's a better card. I don't give a damn about Manny Pacquiao. He's 46. I don't give a damn about Mario Barrios. This fight doesn't mean anything. I don't care if it's going to be a bigger event. It's not a better fight. So I'm going to where the better fights are at because this is a boxing channel. This ain't TMZ. This ain't People Magazine. This ain't Jet Magazine. This ain't the tabloids. We're not here just because bright lights and hype and fanfare. No, we go to where the best fights are because this is a boxing channel and we're just here for the boxing. So that's what it is. It ain't got nothing to do with money. And truth be told, it's actually cheaper to come to Vegas because I know more people in Vegas. I mean, I got friends in Texas. I got family in Texas, but I got more friends. I got friends in Vegas. I got places to stay. I don't got like pay. Like, come on, you know this, Hyro. Ghost Rider says, sorry, I got shy and didn't chat with you. I just saw you walking around. I didn't make it in the line and was eating at the smoothie. Oh, okay. Yeah, the little smoothie spot right there by the MGM Grand. Of course, they have the frozen yogurts and things like that. Yeah, I know. I know all about that. I've ate there a couple of times myself. But listen, man, listen, you don't got to be shy. As long as I don't got somewhere to go, which I always try to stop for everyone, but sometimes when I'm covering fights, I am on the run. I am moving very fast and whatnot. So sometimes I can't stop it. I always try, if somebody who watches the channel stops me and says, hey, BT, hey, Brennan, I try to stop and talk to everyone because I got so much appreciation for the viewers of the channel. So don't be like that, man. Next time you see me, you just say, hey, BT, what's up? I watch the channel, and I'll stop and I'll talk. You don't got to be all, you don't got to be like that, man. I'm a regular guy. I'm just a guy with a boxing channel who knows a little bit. Like, I know like this much about boxing. I'm still learning, and I'm decent at my job. I'm getting better, but I'm a regular person. Like, I'm not no celebrity. You don't gotta be shy. I'm a regular person who just loves boxing just like you. Shout out to the future middleweight champion of the world. He's in the chat. One of the WBA top contenders in the middleweight division, Ian Green. Shout out to Ian Green, my guy. I know I talk your guys' ears off about Angelo Leo, but I'm telling you guys, one day, Ian Green is gonna go ahead and fight for a world title, and I'm gonna be there. And I can't wait for that day. And he's gonna win. And you guys are gonna say, damn, we heard about this guy from True School Sports. Ian Green says, he says, how does it feel to be the Kendrick Lamar of boxing media? What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I know Kendrick's kind of controversial. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. But I don't know exactly what you mean by that. So if you could expound upon that, I could answer it better. But how does it feel to be Kendrick Lamar boxing media? I guess it feels good. It feels good. It feels good to be BT. It feels good to be the untouchable True School Sports Empire. Let me see who else we got. A lot of people say that now Inaway has aura. Do you agree? I hate when people start talking about who has aura and who doesn't, because I don't look at people like that. Like, to me, guys, I want y'all to understand something about me. I've been covering boxing since 2015. I've covered boxing all around this planet. Been to big fights, small fights, fights in between. I've seen a lot. My short time covering, my short 9 years, going on 10 soon, covering boxing. I don't get starstruck from fighters. I don't look at them as like who has aura, who doesn't. So I can't answer that question for you. What I can say about Inaway is that man can dress. He dresses very well. I remember at the press conference, he had this gaudy piece of jewelry on his left wrist. It was like this big gold bracelet, and it was thick. It was a thick ass gold bracelet. That was cool, but other than that, I can't answer no questions about aura. Aura ain't gonna win him in fights. Hyro says, Sean Tatel is a boxing purist. He's gonna pick Manny over that little show in Texas. I love Sean. That's my guy. But personally, I don't give a fuck which fight Sean Tatel goes to. If I'm being honest with you, if he goes to Texas, cool. If he goes to Vegas for Manny, that's cool too. But I know what my ass is gonna be. My ass is gonna be in Frisco, Texas, watching Bam Rodriguez fight Fumulele Kafu for the unified titles at 115, and then my ass is gonna be watching Diego Pacheco versus McCumbee. If Sean wanna go to Pacquiao versus Barrios, that's his prerogative. He's his own man. I'm my own man. But like, that's what it is. I'm not worried about which fight he's going to. I can only tell you where I'm going to go, and where I'm going to go is Frisco, Texas, to the Star for that card. Because I'll tell you this, Matchroom Boxing is criticized a lot for making like bad fights. This is probably one of the best fight cards they've ever made in America, from a competitive standpoint. BT, what do you think about the Cleo Cole rematch? He's got a box, in my opinion. Gallegos is a bad style for him. I haven't thought too deeply about it. I know what's happening. I think he should box because he don't have the durability or the volume to deal with to deal with Gallegos. That's just the truth. We saw that in the first fight. The Martin 9400 says, "What fight are you more looking forward to? Inaway versus MJ or Inaway versus Nakatani?" Oh, for sure, Inaway never versus Nakatani by miles. Much better fight than I mean, Inaway versus MJ I think will be a good fight, but I'm just tired of seeing Inaway fight at 122. I'd rather him fight Nakatani or fight one of them guys at featherweight. That's really where I'm at, and you guys know that. So to answer your question, I'll just say I'll say that. Am I coming to Japan in September? I don't think I'll be in Japan in September, but what I can tell you guys is I think I'll be in Japan a lot sooner than that. That's what I can say. Let me see. Blood pound number 1. Who else we got? What else did I miss? What else did I miss? Who else we got? Who's winning the rematch between Usyk and Dubois? Pamaroon. Shout out to Pamaroon, long-time viewer. I don't really care who wins that rematch because one of them needs to fight Joseph Parker. Daniel Dubois ducked that living hell to Joseph Parker, pulled out of a fight he had signed with Joseph Parker to make this fight. And Usyk's already beat Dubois. I feel like he should be fighting Joseph Parker as well. So it's a cool fight, but I mean, I'd rather one of these guys be fighting Joseph Parker, a former world champion, a guy who's earned the right to get this fight. You know. What weight do you think Junto ends his career at, and will it be higher than Inaway? Yes. To answer your question, he will definitely end up at a higher weight class than Inaway, and I think he ends up at some point in time. I think he'll end up being a 130 pounder. I think he'll cap out at 130, and maybe for the right guy, because he's a tall guy. He's got a long, rangy frame. For the right guy, I see Junto fighting a lightweight. For the right guy. Are you going to the gym fight? I can't say about the gym fight. I don't know if I'll be going to the gym fight, but I'll be in Japan relatively sooner than you think. You know, that's all I can say. What names do you think we should watch out for on the Japan card this weekend? Who the hell is fighting in Japan this weekend? Oh, Ioka and whatchamacallit, Ioka and Puma. To be honest with you guys, because I haven't even done a video for that fight, and I wasn't planning to do a video for that fight. I was just gonna wait, let the fight happen and do my post-fight review for that one. But let me see. I haven't even checked the card. So let me go review it, and then I can answer your questions. So we got Bam versus Puma 3 days from now. Oh my God. Yeah, you got some heavy hitters on this card. So you got obviously you got Hayato Tsutsumi, you know, top super featherweight contender in his 7th pro fight. He's 6-0. He's already being fast-tracked for a world title. Hayato Tsutsumi, you know, really good fighter. Probably, I would say Tsutsumi is probably one of my top 5 favorite fighters from Japan right now. I love a lot of people right now are gassed up on his brother Reito Tsutsumi, who just turned pro on the Turkey card. But Reito is good. Like, Reito is good. And he may very well turn out to be better than Hayato Tsutsumi. But if you're asking me, my personal preference, I like Hayato Tsutsumi style a bit more. He's a bit more front foot dominant. He's a bit more aggressive. Reito's more of a counterpunch and leans more towards being a boxer, which, you know, obviously is very effective at the high level. But I think Hayato does a great job of mixing, being balanced in both departments. So yeah, I like that fight. He's in a cherry pick. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys. He's in a straight cherry-picked fight. Like, he's fighting Jaime Arboleda, who has lost to Chris Colbert, has lost to William Zepeda, who isn't like what he was even 3, 4, 5 years ago. He should blow out Jaime Arboleda. But you know, there's that fight. And then you have Daya Akira, who's a 2-0 prospect, who I did a video on, come forward fighter, educated, high guard style. A lot of people are high on him. I still am learning about Daya Akira, but yeah, those are the 2 guys on that particular card that you got to look out for. So, yup. Ian Green says, in my opinion, he's the best, but not commercially when it comes to actual rap. He's the best. BT, when it comes to predictions, interviews, and not showing fighters Eagles, is asking them uncomfortable questions. BT is the GOAT. Yes, Ian, tell him, Ian. That's one of the, listen, man. Listen. Ian Green, man. Listen, I'm telling you guys, you can choose to listen or not listen. I don't give a damn if it's Yo and Elise Hernandez. I don't care if it's whoever. You name the middleweight. When the time comes and the time is right, they're gonna get the fucking brakes beaten off of them by Ian Green. And I don't mean to curse. I don't mean to curse, but I'm getting that fired up. Really good fighter, man. Really good fighter. He just needs to continue to improve and get better as any other fighter. But yeah, I got faith. I got faith in Ian Green. Can Tench become the undisputed champion at bantamweight? Sade Soda says. It's gonna be a gauntlet. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, they're all right now. All the champions are Japanese. You got Junto Nakatani holding the WBC. You got Seiya Tsutsumi holding the WBA. You got Ryosuke Nishida holding the IBF, and then WBO is Yoshiki Takei. I think he'll definitely beat Yoshiki Takei. I think he's the weak link of the bunch. Tsutsumi and him as a pick'em fight. Nishida, I make a slight favorite over him, and the only clear favorite I make over him will be Junto. So, I don't think he would be undisputed, but I think there are some guys that he could beat with the title. Do you remember Michael Nunn, a.k.a. Second? Of course. That's one of my favorite fighters. I actually have his number in my phone. I've talked to Michael Nunn on the phone before. He's going to be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame next month in Canastota. I want to go, but like there's so many things, like there's so many massive things going on here on True School Sports over this next month, and there'll be some traveling being done here really shortly. So I'm not sure where I'll be when he gets inducted, but if I'm back in America, oh, my bad. I'm exposing myself. If it's there, I will go. If I can make it, I'll go, because I'm a big fan of him, and I'm a big fan of Manny Pacquiao, who's also going in. So it's definitely important. As far as I remember, boxing in Japan was infamous until a few years back, all starting from Naoya. I don't agree with that, because what I know about Japanese boxing is I know that Naoya Inaway has definitely put Japanese boxing on such a worldwide stage that it's made it greater than it's ever been in terms of popularity. That he's a big reason why I cover Japanese boxing. So I gotta give him his flowers and his just due. But when you research the history of Japanese boxing and Japan's place in in boxing history, I believe they have the third or the fourth. I'm gonna say it's the fourth most champions in the history of boxing, behind only the United States, Mexico, and England. They might even have more than England, because I know they have a lot of world champions, and they had some great fighters back in the last century, that like fighting Harada, Yoko Goishin, really great fighters. And I'm still learning about some of their old fighters. Like there's guys that have beaten really good Mexican fighters. Like I was reading about some guy who beat some great Mexican fighter the other day. Black Ray Donovan says, the truth is here. What's up, bro? Salute. Shout out to you, champ. What's good? We here. I'm just here. I'm just talking boxing because, right now is the calm before the storm. There's some big stuff happening here on True School Sports that you guys, listen, if you paid attention to my Instagram today, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, then I guess you gotta wait. You gotta wait for the video to come out in about 5 or 6 hours. I pretty much said what it was on Instagram. So if you don't got me on Instagram, go follow me at Just a Kid from Dania. You can go find my Instagram on the About section of my YouTube page and just click the link, and then you'll be good to go. BT Bam is fighting Pokemon now. Now come on, BT. If Ian Green fought Laura on PBC for the belt, you would change, of course. What do you mean? Of course. I mean it's a world title fight. I should change. Kapu's a good Hyro. What the fuck are you talking about? And guys, I can curse Hyro because he's my friend. We talk. We have a good rapport. So I'm not gonna disrespect nobody else. But Hyro, Kafu went to Japan and he won the title from Tanaka. He won the title against a legitimately good fighter. He's a legitimate champion. It's a good fight. It's a really good fight. I don't know why you're having an issue with him fighting Bam. You just hate Bam Rodriguez. That's what it is, Howard. You hate Bam Rodriguez. You hate that guy. So anybody he fights, you're gonna say it's trash. BT. Nah, Ace. I'm not going there. I'm not doing none of that. Seeing Inaway live makes me almost agree with you that your boy stops him. Listen, I've been telling you guys for, let me see, I made a video here on this channel 5 years ago, and I told you, I said, listen, guys, before Angelo lost to Stephen Four, and I was telling you guys that Angelo had a style that would give Inaway a lot of problems, and he could beat him. The videos on this channel, you can go look it up. Angelo Leo, the man to beat Naoya Inoue. I made it in 2020. People are now starting to see what I'm saying. They starting to see what I've been seeing for years about the monster, and they're seeing that it's not just hate. Now, obviously, just because Cardenas has some success, it doesn't mean Angelo will have more success or beat him. It's just that, you saw the punch that Cardenas landed, and you can see Angelo landing that punch, and Angelo's a better fighter than Cardenas. So it's not crazy to people that are unbiased, So, we'll see. But we can't even talk about that. Inouye has to handle his business at 122. He got to beat Junto. He got to beat Merjan. He got to beat these guys. He got to beat Nick Ball, apparently, because that's who he wants to fight. So he got his next 3 fights mapped out. Angelo got to fight Kameda. So listen, if they keep winning, if they keep winning, then it's destiny. It's God's plan. I don't like Bam because he gets so much hype for beating older men. When those men he fought lost, they didn't get the same praise. Well, look, Harold, that's why I'm excited about the fight with Bam and Kafu. Kafu is not an older fighter. Kafu is a fighter that is 26 years old. He's coming off the best win in his career. He's fresh. He's strong. He's young. He's game. I don't understand why, like, Kafu and Bam is a bad fight. Like I think it's a good fight. If I'm not mistaken, Kafu's trainer is Hecky Butler's trainer. Yep. Colin, I don't know if it's Colin Nathan, but yeah, I believe you're right. All I know about that is that I know that Kafu has the same manager as Yi Jun Kim, and Kafu has the same manager as Ryosuke Nishida, and that is a guy by the name of Mike Altamara, who's a great person. Great manager, too. I honestly thought Kafu lost to Tanaka. Yeah, it was a close fight. It was a close fight. It could have went either way. I thought, I wasn't mad when he got the decision, and I love Kosai Tanaka. Like I know people on his team. I've met him. I got reason to be biased for him. He's one of my favorite fighters from Japan, but he's not he didn't win that fight. It wasn't like the margins weren't so big to where you could just say he outright won that fight. It was close. It was razor close. Does Crawford have the greatest boxing ever to beat someone a few weight classes higher when his power is gone and Canelo's power is more felt for Terrence? I'll be honest, man. Like, I've never been a big fan of the Canelo Crawford fight for a couple of reasons. Reason number one being that I feel like both those guys have fighters around their weight classes or in their weight classes that they should be fighting. Like for Crawford, Jaron Ennis when he was at welterweight, and or Virgil Ortiz on 54. For Canelo, obviously Dave Benavidez. That's my number one problem with the fight. My second problem with the fight is that I don't think it's a great fight stylistically. Like, I don't think Crawford versus Canelo is going to be an exciting fight. Will it be an exciting event? Yes. I think, Turkey and Dana White, they're gonna go ahead and they're gonna make this the biggest thing possible. But I think when they actually fight, like when they get in the ring and we see how their styles mesh, I think you're going to see Canelo Alvarez fighting a lot in spurts, and I think you're going to see a very calculated Crawford using his legs, and might even be a boring performance. Like I don't think you're going to get the apex predator Terrence Crawford in this fight. I think you're going to get someone a lot different because his margin for error is going to be different, in this fight, being that, he's moving up a weight. His power is not going to carry up as high. Do I care who wins? Honestly, no, because I've always told you guys that Canelo Alvarez is a fantastic fighter, but I've always told you that the boxing media has always overrated him. Is he a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he a fantastic fighter? Yes. But is he the greatest Mexican fighter ever? No. And is he even the second or even third greatest Mexican fighter ever? I don't think so either. I think he's probably like maybe the fourth or fifth best Mexican fighter ever at best. So that being said, like him winning or losing this fight doesn't do much for me as far as perception. And for Crawford, I mean, we all watched Canelo versus William Skull. We all watched the fight. We all seen it in 4K. Canelo Alvarez looks like every bit of his age. So I mean, is it impressive that he's moving up in weight and beating him? Yes, but let's not act like he's beating the Canelo Alvarez that fought Austin Trout or anything like that. Hyro says, you got to worry about your damn... I'm not worried. I'm not worried, Hyro. Listen, we're the champs for a reason. The reason why the Florida Panthers are the Stanley Cup champions is because we can overcome situations like this. And I fully expect that in South Florida, they're gonna take both those games and turn this thing around. MJ got to worry about his upcoming fight. Who's he fighting? If Terrence Crawford wins, you shouldn't put him close to Inaway, and Canelo is way better than Inaway. Please, who has Inaway beat besides Stephen Fulton? He's beating a lot of good fighters. You know, Luis Neri's a pretty damn good fighter. He beat what's his name? I mean, he beat Donaire, who's a future Hall of Famer. Like, he's beating plenty of good fighters, man. Canelo Alvarez in his current form is pretty whack, if I'm being honest. Like, you know, everyone's saying like, oh well, Inaway beat an old Donaire. Well, Crawford is gonna be if he beats Canelo, he's beating an old Canelo who's got damn near 70 fights and all this money in the bank, and probably is only boxing at this point because of the money, because he can get, you know, 50, 60 million dollars. He's doing that. Yeah, Canelo on paper, Al the Pal, is younger than Crawford. Like, he's younger on paper, but you're not factoring in. Canelo turned pro at 15 years old. Canelo was fighting grown men at 15 years old. Canelo has like 30. Let me see. How many fights has Terrence Crawford got? How many fights in the pros does Terrence Crawford got compared to Canelo? Because I know it's at least 20 fights or more. I know Canelo got at least 20 plus fights or more than Crawford. Canelo got 67. He got 67 pro fights in his career. Terrence has 41 professional fights in his career. So Canelo has 26 more professional fights than Terrence Crawford. I don't want to hear about this. I don't want to hear about age. Canelo Alvarez, in terms of the physicality and activity, because mind you, Terrence Crawford, he fights one time a year and he vacations for a whole year, sometimes even a year and a half. He don't be fighting like that like often. He takes layoffs. Canelo Alvarez has had plenty of years where he's fighting 3 times a year, 4 times a year, 2 times a year. You know, so there's more wear and tear. He's older. He's older in terms of his body. Who is my dream fight for Angelo Leo other than Inaway? The Stephen Fulton rematch, because I know for 1,000% fact that if they fight again, it's not gonna go very good for Stephen Fulton. And we can bet whatever you want. We can bet whatever you want. You know, that's my dream fight. But unfortunately, I'll be honest, I have not made a big deal about it. I haven't, because I like Stephen Fulton and whatnot. But truth be told, like, him going to 130 to fight O'Shaquie Foster, to me, is a duck. Like, to me, it's a straight duck. I love Stephen Fulton, and he ain't really ducked too many fighters in his career. But bro, you got a guy you already beat in your weight class, right? Quote unquote, you beat him easily, right? He's got a belt. You can do a unification rematch, and you talking about going to 130 to fight O'Shaquie Foster? Nah, the Leo Fulton fight at 126 is bigger. It's a bigger fight than O'Shaquie versus Stephen Fulton at the 130. And I just feel like, you know, he's ducking the fight. You know, he want to go fight O'Shaquie. I think that's. I haven't made a big deal about it because I like Stephen Fulton, but if I'm being honest, since we're talking about it, I think it's corny. You know, you want to fight Inaway, right? So if you want to fight Inaway, you go and you fight one of the champions who you already beat. Angelo Leo, right? It should be easy, right? You beat him easily, right? He's the same guy, right? All you guys think he's the same guy. You find out real quickly he's not. Straight up. Angelo 130 can be folded. Angelo is pretty small at 130. Angelo will win a world title at 130. I got no doubt about that. Listen, man, there ain't really much to worry about up there at 130. Like, there's some good fighters, but nobody that's like otherworldly. Is Pacquiao beating Barrios? Oh man, now wouldn't that be insane? And Manny Pacquiao being a world champion. Yo, if Manny Pacquiao beats Mario Barrios to win a world title at 46, that's like an indictment and a half on the welterweight division. Like, how you gonna let a 46-year-old come into the weight class and get a belt? What? And then what's funny is, I'm telling you guys, the minute Pacquiao wins a belt, all the Philadelphians, the Boots fans are gonna say he don't want to fight Boots. Pacquiao don't want to fight Boots. Do I think Eric Slubin wins this weekend against Adriel Holmes? He should. He's a more well-rounded fighter than Adriel Holmes. He punches harder than Adriel Holmes. He's physically stronger than like Adriel Holmes is a good fighter from what I've seen on tape, but I lean towards Lubin, even though like I'm not quite as high on Lubin as other people, but he's a good fighter. Fulton beats Leo 126. He don't believe that. Angelo was a kid when they fought the first time, and Fulton got freaking hurt in the 4th round. I'm telling you right now, if they ever fight at featherweight, Stephen Fulton will never be the same. You thought Inaway beat him bad? Okay. He'll never be the same if they fight at featherweight. And I wish he would stay at 126. I wish he would stay at 126. I wish they run it back, because what's funny is, like, I already know people are going to say, oh, why don't Angelo fight Fulton? But Fulton want to go to 130. Nobody's asking Fulton, why don't you fight the guy you beat already for the unification? But they'll ask Angelo and they'll say you got to fight Fulton. So it's double standards. How was Angelo a kid when him and Fulton are the same age? Because fighters, depending on who it is, mature physically at a different age. So, for example, I'll give you an example. Jin Sasaki and Brian Norman Jr. are around the same age. But if you look at their body type and you've watched them fight, Brian Norman Jr. is the more physically mature fighter of the two. So two fighters can be the same age, but one fighter can be ahead in terms of physical maturation. Fulton won the fight the way he did the first time because of his physical maturation. He was a little bit more physically stronger than Angelo, so he was able to, do some things in there. It ain't the same type of fight anymore. And if you went back and you reviewed both fighters, you know that. But I hope it happens. Naoya's rematch in Vegas got only 8,000 tickets. People always in the U.S. begging him to fight there. It turned out that they didn't come to see him. Jeez. Well, I've talked about this at length here on the channel. You can bring Inaway to America, right? But I feel Top Rank dropped the ball, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Number one, they put Inaway's fight on a Sunday, which I thought was mistake number one. People have jobs. People have kids. People have things to tend to the following day. They're not going to go out on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever the time it was when he fought to go watch any fights, right? So you lost some of the crowd by having the fight on a Sunday. That's number one. Number two, you put him in a weekend where you had Canelo fighting, you had this Times Square card in New York, so he got lost in the shuffle of all that. It wasn't fair to him the way they promoted him. And then also they put him in the T-Mobile Arena, which is a 20,000 seat venue. Inaway is a big star in Japan. He could sell that in Japan, but in America, they should have put him somewhere like the Mandalay Bay, put him somewhere where 8,000 seats, And then if he sells that out, then the next fight you move him up to a bigger venue. You don't just say to yourself because he sells 20,000 in Japan that he's gonna sell 20,000 in the States. No, that's not gonna happen. You gotta build him up. What do you think about Vaquero Navarrete? How do you rank him as a super featherweight? That's a good question. I love Vaquero. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think he's arguably you can make an argument that he's the best volume puncher in the entire sport, because it's not just his volume, but it's more so like the angles in which he throws his volume punches from. He's a hard guy to deal with over the course of 12 rounds. And he's a very, very intelligent and precise body puncher. If I'm evaluating the 130 division, which I think is, it's okay. It's not like a great division. Right now, the IBF title is vacant. The WBA title is about to be vacant because Lamont Roach is not going to stay at 130. So you're going to have two titles vacant. So you're basically asking me, do I think Vaquero Navarrete at this point in time is a better 130-pounder than O'Shaquie Foster? I think right now you got to say he is, because he's had a longer body of work. So right now he's the number one 130-pounder. O'Shaquie's very good too, but O'Shaquie, he's still, I think like his best legacy fight is still ahead for him. And so you can't really say or put him above Vaquero because he doesn't have that body of work yet. But he's an amazing fighter. In the last year and some change, Mexico versus Mexico, America versus Japan has become the premium rivalry in boxing. So many notable matchups recently, even more coming up with Nunez and Rikishi and Leo and Kameda. Yes, I've always said, guys, because I always hear in the States, Mexico, Puerto Rico is being like a dead horse. I think it's a very overrated rivalry. USA versus Mexico is obviously a big one, but I've always told everybody, I've always told anybody who will listen, because I love the lighter weight categories. I've always said that my favorite rivalry in boxing is Mexico versus Japan, because I like the style matchup. Because generally speaking, when you talk about fighters in those countries, Mexican fighters generally tend to have all action come forward style, and it could be unconventional and it could break the rules, but it's very effective, and they rely a lot on their conditioning and just dominating the back half of a fight. As to where with Japan, you have fighters that love to operate from the mid range, that are very explosive, that like to punch through the target. So I feel like these are two contrasting styles from two contrasting countries, from two contrasting ideologies, and whenever they mix up in the ring, you get really good fights. So Hyro says, after going to the PBC conference, does it make you want to go to the fight? And to answer your question, Hyro, not really. I think it's a mismatched card, but we'll see what Resendiz and Lamana do. I wish those guys the best as the B-sides to give these guys a good fight. Yeah, I'm not really I'm not really like over the only reason, Hyro, as I told you, and I'll say it here on the live, the only reason why I don't want to go to that fight is if because if I go to that card, I'm not gonna go as media. I'll probably take like a chick or something to the fight, like a girl. That's about it. I'm not gonna go to the fight as media. I'll probably take a girl, like a pretty girl or something to the fight. Because I know a particular woman who likes Caleb Plant as a fighter. That's her favorite fighter. So fuck it, maybe I'll take her. But other than that, I'm just gonna probably not be in Vegas for that. What's the best fight to make in boxing with the top fighters right now, BT? Inaway versus Junto is the only major legacy fight in the next few years. Well, I mean, I told you guys for years. I mean, Inaway Junto is a great one. I'm gonna always bang the drum for Angelo Leo versus Inaway. I think that's a great fight. But aside from those matchups, right? Aside from those matchups that I really want to see, regarding the guys in that weight class, we'll go a little higher in weight. Let me see. Best fights to make. So I think we're getting one of them really soon. I think Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki is going to be one of the most explosive fights in boxing for the year. I love that fight. Brian Norman versus Jerron Ennis is a fight that I hope happens. Let me see, 160. Give me Ian Green versus any of the champions. I'll be high about that. I think Benavidez versus the Bivol Beterbiev winner will be a good one. I also think Benavidez versus Gilberto Ramirez at cruiserweight would be a great one. Hiroka's Gary Anton Russell, that's an amazing fight. That right, you know what? That one right there, that's like fireworks. That's explosiveness. That's fireworks. That's what we want to see. You give me Gary Anton Russell versus Eddie Hiroka, and I'll be all right with that one. I'm cool with that one. Maybe give me Subriel Matias versus Tio Lopez. That was a fight that was talked about last year at one point. I still want to see that. Matias ain't done yet. I'm not riding him off just because he had a loss. He's come back. He became mandatory. Hitchens really should be fighting him, but he's fighting George, so it is what it is there. Yeah, those are a couple that come to mind. Shout out to my guy, Round One Sports Talk. Yes, Round One Sports Talk in the building. I had a chance to meet him, and that was all I guess by God, because I wasn't trying to. I was just going to my seat and I met him, so that was cool. Good guy. Talks about Inaway a lot. Go subscribe to him. If Jin Sasaki doesn't fix his defense, he's gonna get stopped in the middle of the fight. Yeah, I think so. I think you know what? His defense ain't great, so I think for him, his best bet with Brian Norman, he has to smother him. Like, he has to throw a lot of punches, and he has to stay close to him so that Brian can extend his arm and explode on him. I think Jin could make the fight very, very difficult on Brian by smothering him and just letting as many punches fly as possible and using his work rate and his relentlessness to not allow Brian Norman to be comfortable. Jin Sasaki reminds me of Ippo. That's why I like him so much, and he's going to stop Norman. Yeah, I'll tell you this. A lot of people are writing him off and just saying, oh, he has no defense, which I don't blame them. His defense is leaky, but they're not factoring in the fact that that Jin Sasaki, probably throws more punches and is as explosive as anybody as Brian's ever fought. So it's going to be a test for Brian, especially going over to Japan to do it. It's going to be a test for him. Isaac Chamberlain has gone quiet after Vidal's last fight. See, Hiro, you just talking out the side of your mouth. Isaac Chamberlain literally just posted today. He posted a clip with him and Vidal Riley from whenever they faced off. And he said, I want to get my British title back. So you don't know what you're talking about. Stop dick riding Vidal Riley. Pick better fighters to dick ride, Hiro. BT, question about Emiliano Vargas. Who are some step-up opponents you'd like to see him fight? That's a good question. Let me let's go on BoxRec. Let's go look at his ranking, and I can give you an answer right now. Emiliano Vargas. As far as like opponents, I mean, there's some guys I like to see him fight, but I just know that he's a commercial fighter. Like Top Rank wants him to become a star. Like Emiliano Vargas is getting these big time sponsorships. Like he just got a sponsorship with AutoZone. Like he's the first boxer to ever get a sponsorship with AutoZone. So like there's commercial value in Emmy. So guys like him, you gotta always anticipate that the matchmaking will be slow, and he's still only 21. But right now, as it stands, Emiliano Vargas is ranked number 57 on BoxRec. So a couple guys that are ranked in and around him are fighters such as Emmanuel Tego, Shojahan Ergashev, and Gustavo Lemos. So any one of those three, those are all names, those are all veteran fighters, those are all guys that have fought at a good level at some point in their careers, and they're all guys that at this stage Emiliano should beat. So those are fights I can see Top Rank making. Any one of those three: Lemos, Ergashev, Tego, those kind of fights. Where in the world is Boo Boo Android? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But it's your boy BT, the untouchable, True School Sports Empire. We're live here on this fine Thursday night. I hope everybody's week is going well. My week is going well. The calm before the storm. The calm before the storm. Really excited for these next couple days. These next couple weeks. They're going to be life-changing weeks in my life. So I'm locked in. I'm locked into what I got to do in boxing, and we're gonna do big things. So yeah, but I hope everybody's enjoying the boxing talk. Get your questions in. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Definitely smash that like button. There's 41 of you here. I only got 34 likes, so that means there's a good amount of you that haven't hit the like button. So smash this like button so the video gets pushed out as much as possible. And definitely super chat. Those definitely help me get around and get you guys the best content. But let me see. You swear Vidal Riley is boring like Devin Haney? He is. He is. I went back and I watched the Chev Clark fight. That shit was boring. Murataya and Santillan are back on. It is Giovanni's. See, I didn't even know that, bro, because I didn't even look at the undercard. Let me see that real quick. We got Giovanni Santillan back. Listen, man, that's a guy right there. I like Santillan. I think he's a real fighter. I don't know if he'll ever be the same because that was a beating and a half he took from Brian Norman Jr. So I hope he can come back and rebuild his career because I like him and I think there's still a possibility. What happens if Top Rank robs your boy Leo? Well, Top Rank can't rob my boy Leo because the fight's in Japan on Kameda Promotions. Top Rank didn't even put up the money to get the rights to the fight to have it in New Mexico or Vegas or LA or somewhere that would be fan-friendly for Angelo to fight. That's why the fight's in Japan in the first place. So they can't rob him. If he gets robbed, it's going to be because, number one, he has a dramatic underperformance because there's no way in hell he should underperform against Kameda. That's number one. He should stop Kameda. Number two, it's Kameda's people, so it don't matter, right? Like you don't overlook anybody, but there's levels in boxing, and they're gonna be shown. They're gonna be shown, And if you guys think otherwise, you're gonna find out. I met Mark Castro. What are your thoughts on him? Yeah, I see Mark. I know Mark. Mark and me spoke a little bit during the week off camera. I didn't do an interview, but I've interviewed him in the past, and we follow each other on Instagram. Yeah, Mark will be fighting again. He's informed me he's going to be fighting on the Pacheco on that card on July 19th with Bam and Kafu and Pacheco and Macumbi. So Mark to me has been an underachiever. He's been underwhelming. He came into the pros with a lot of fanfare. He was a decorated amateur, top U.S. amateur. Fought. He fought my boy Dominique Francis in the amateur and beat him a couple of times. He was a top talent in the amateurs, but that amateur background has not translated to the pros, and he took a loss that he wasn't supposed to take. So underwhelming, but his career is not over. He's still young, and he can still make good on some of his potential. So I look forward to seeing how Mark translates as his career goes on. Many Japanese people hate Kameda for some reason. Yeah, what's crazy is I've been talking to a lot of people over there in Japan, in Osaka, in the Japanese boxing community. The reason that I've been informed why they don't like him is because he doesn't act like a Japanese person. And he's very they talk a lot and they do bad business from what the boxing fans tell me. So that's what I don't really know why, but I just know that when Angelo fights over there, he's gonna have a lot of support just because they don't like the Kamedas like that over there. There's gonna be a lot of support there for Angelo on that night. Will Ryan ever be the same? Has he lost his marketing power? Yes, he's definitely lost some marketing power because no matter how marketable you are, no matter how good your social media is, ultimately, if you're if you underperform, there's no amount of marketing or social media that can overcome that. And I like Ryan Garcia, and I've said many times, I think in terms of natural talent and ability, he is actually one of the most talented fighters I've ever seen in my life. But natural talent and natural ability is only one part of the equation. It is not the equation itself. So right now, for me, he's probably one of the biggest hype jobs I've ever seen in my life. And that's objectively speaking because, he's 26 years old now. He's closer to 30 than he is 20 now. He's had 26 fights in the pros. His biggest win is Luke Campbell. He underperformed against Rolly and lost. Got a boxing lesson from him. Got beat up by Tank. He just hasn't really given us a lot as far as substance in the ring. So you got to call a spade a spade. No matter how much I like him. And I do like Ryan a lot as a fighter. Kameda Promotions is like the Golden Boy of Japan. Rinky Dink production or organization. This is true. They're not Ohashi. They are not Tekken. You are correct. How high can Marco Verde go? I'm not really sure. I haven't I watched him. I watched some fights, but I haven't dug deep into him enough. I haven't dug deep into Verde enough to have an answer for that question. If I'm being all the way honest. What do I think about Cameron Diaz versus Yoannis Hernandez on the Plant undercard? I'm very intrigued about that fight. Cameron Davis is coming off of a good win against Elijah Garcia, an upset win. Davis has fought guys like Dave Benavidez. Yoannis Hernandez is this guy that the powers that be in boxing really want to succeed. They're fast tracking him. He has less than 10 fights. This is a big test for him because I feel like Cameron Davis is the first guy that when he hits Cameron Davis isn't just gonna go anywhere. He's gonna fight back. He's got craft. He can box. We're gonna figure out if Yoannis Hernandez is actually the goods, or if he's just like a manufactured Cuban hype job or a star. A guy that they're trying to manipulate into being a champion. Sorry for the late call last night. Let's see how things develop from here on. Shout out to you, Jan. No problem, man. It's a very interesting time. I'm not going to speak too deeply on what we spoke about yesterday, but, I have my part to play in that whole situation. And yeah, I was up till 5 in the morning, so it didn't even matter. I was calling you, the other person, and that's what it is. Mikita Nakano is the next biggest star of Japanese boxing amongst other stars in the country. He is skilled enough now to become world champion. Arab Nath, a very good fighter. I definitely see him as world championship potential. Um, he's ranked top 15, I believe, in all the sanctioning bodies. Nakano, his highest ranking right now is number 8 in the IBF. Let me actually check and see if they updated the rankings because he was 8 before he won over the weekend. Maybe they actually elevated his ranking. Let me see if he's still 8 in the IBF. So they haven't updated it. He's still 8 in the IBF. He's 10 in the WBA, and he's 10 in the WBC, and he is number 11 in the WBO. So look, he can go any route. You guys saw him and Angelo Leo meet, so maybe that's a fight that could wind up happening. Obviously, that'd be a good fight. I like Mikita Nakano. I have no problem. It'd be great to fight him at some point in the future. Makito versus Shushu. Yes, I love that fight. Makito Nakano versus Shushu is a great fight. I asked Shushu Carrington about that matchup. I asked Shushu, I said, look, man, if you can't get the champions, if you can't get Espinoza, Leo, Ball, Fulton, whoever the case may be, as far as the champions are concerned, what do you think about fighting Nakano? Top Rank has to get creative and give you a top talent that's a contender. Would you do that fight? And he said pretty much like he said yes, but like he was kind of talking like he said that Nakano was still getting known in America, so he liked Nakano to maybe fight once or two times, like once in America more to build his name up, and then fight him, because if he fights him now and if he was to get a win, people will say that Nakano is a nobody. But I don't know. I understand Bruce's perspective. I don't know if I agree with him, because anybody who watched Nakano, because I had people messaging me, like Ian Green, who was just in here earlier, who was the middleweight. He watched the card and he was texting me saying Nakano. Like, people who don't know anything about or don't know a lot about Japanese boxing, like compared to me, that was a hell of a first impression. Explosive southpaw, 5 knockdowns, a 4th or 5th round stoppage, or whatever it was. Like, I think if he would have fought him, people would actually give him some credit. He has a good record on paper. He's 13-0 with 12 knockouts. I mean, that's an amazing fight. And I think if they can't go ahead and make Shushu versus Espinoza, or the champions, go make that fight. That's a good fight. Espinoza is tailor-made for Nakano. Shushu is good, but I favor Nakano against him. Shushu lost against Suleiman Sagawa. You know what? I wouldn't mind. I actually like. What about Nakano versus Suleiman Sagawa? What about that fight? That would be a great fight, because Sagawa, durable, can box, punch. Nakano, explosive. I like that matchup, and I think it's very makeable. How do you feel that Turkey's plans for TKO boxing was derailed by Ryan's loss, and is the rematch going up as Momoko with Devin? How was it affected? I mean, TKO is trying to undercut these fighters and put a cap on what they can make. So they were going to do that regardless. As far as the dead rematch, I don't think anybody wants to. Not many people want to see that rematch right now. I think they both got to do some. They both got to do some work as far as, if they want to still go that route, building that fight back up. If that's something that they're still interested in. Right now, that fight has gone cold. You never talk about Jan Sena. He's a featherweight. Jan Santana. Jan Santana. He's not ranked right now. And I haven't got around to it. And to be fair to Jan Santana, I haven't watched him fight. I also haven't talked about John Paul Rivera, who's ranked. So there's a couple guys at featherweight I haven't talked about, but nobody's talked about more featherweights than me. So, what do I think about Lawrence Okoli calling out Ajit Kabiel? Lawrence Okoli, he better be careful what he wish for. Ajit Kabiel not playing games out here. You seen what the hell Kabiel's been doing to these dudes. Why is Bakram not getting any fights? He might be the best one in the weight division. Well, Bakram could have fought Conwell. Before Conwell lost, he didn't want to. He was playing A side, B side with Conwell. But like Bakram, I don't know, man. That's a question for Kathy Duva main events. He's a high risk, low reward fighter, even with a belt. So guys are not going to jump up to fight him. I saw him call out Keith Thurman, and I don't think Keith Thurman will fight him at this stage of his career. But I'll tell you this: if Keith Thurman fought Bakram at this stage of his career, then damn, Keith Thurman should never be.
should never be questioned ever again, because there's like no, compared to what Keith Thurman has made in the past, there's no money in that fight for him. There is one Japanese Mike Tyson. I forgot his name. You're talking about the Ohashi boxing prospect, welterweight, Sora Tanaka, the Mike Tyson of Yokohama. Yes, that's one of my favorite fighters from Japan, just because he's fun to watch. I don't know how good he's gonna be. We'll see how he develops. When he punches on shit, like, you know, he has an effect. I love watching him fight. Dylan Price is back May 16th on the Misfits card. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't even know that, but Dylan Price is good, man. I like Dylan Price. Dylan Price, you know, he's a contender at 122. Maybe that's a guy, you know, once Inaway vacates the belts, maybe that's a guy that works himself into the fold of fighting a guy like Ramon Cardenas or Marlon Tapales or Sam Goodman or these kind of fighters. Hell yeah. The real deal Price. No, he couldn't. Conrad already had a fight lined up. But yeah, Bahiro, he wasn't interested in fighting Conwell regardless. Like, he told you what it was all about. Like, he wasn't going to fight Conwell whether he had a fight lined up or not. Is Nakatani directly going to fight? Oh, no, he deleted the comment. But shout out to everyone here. We just here, sitting down, chilling, talking. Calm before the storm. Yes, sir. Can't wait. Can't wait. Make sure you smash that like button. And if y'all got any questions, boxing or non-boxing related, listen, man, it's 9:54. We're all friends. We're all family here. Y'all could even ask me non-boxing related questions, you know? What's the storm? What's going to happen? You'll see. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram and you go look at my last Instagram post, you will see what I was talking about. You'll know what the storm is if you go look at today's Instagram post. You can follow me at Just a Kid from Daniel. But I'm not going to say it here because I got a video coming out on all this in about, I think, like 3 to 4 hours or so. 3 to 4 or 5 hours from now. So when that video drops, you'll know what it's about. And it'll be fun. Who should Top Rank go after ESPN? I feel like Max, Peacock, Apple TV are the only options left because Netflix and Amazon are not interested in sports enough to pay the massive contract. That's a great question. Who should they go with? I mean, if I'm picking off of those options, I would say, I don't know, man. Like, to be honest with you, I mean, they're gonna go the route of one of those streaming platforms. But I really wish we can get to a place in boxing where, like, why can't Top Rank just renegotiate the ESPN deal? I feel like ESPN promoting boxing is still needed. Like, because think about all the fighters that have benefited from the ESPN platform. Even if boxing really is like the 10th or 9th most popular sport in America at this point, like, ESPN is still needed. So I hope they can renegotiate. It's 12:54 here in Boston. Yeah, I'm still in Vegas, so, you know, in about, let me see. Let me give you the actual time of when said video is gonna drop, so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So it's gonna drop at 11:45 here in Vegas. So it'll be a late video. It'll actually be in about less than 2 hours. You guys know what I'm talking about in less than 2 hours. But I'm not gonna say it on the live because I want you to watch the video. They can't renegotiate because ESPN is dropping them. But I would like to still say they should still try. Find a way to renegotiate. And if not that, then negotiate with an actual big network like an ABC, NBC, July, or NBC, like Fox, whatever. Like, I want to see boxing back on a big platform, not on no streaming platform. If ESPN's not an option because they're dropping them, I would like to say go to Fox, go with NBC, go with ABC if you can. Try to open up that door, because TKO is taking Top Rank's spot on ESPN. I'm not excited about that shit. BET, you know, it's funny. I don't think they should go BET, but I remember when Andre Ward fought on BET. Andre Ward fought Paul Smith on BET all those years ago. If you guys remember when he was signed to Rock Nation. what are my other interests outside of boxing? That's a good question. Well, I'm a big hockey fan, so I love the Florida Panthers. I love baseball. Love the Marlins. I like playing basketball. I like I like I like fashion. I do like fashion. I like, I do like going shopping when I have money to spend on clothes. I do like, fashion. I like riding my. I mean, I'm not in South Florida right now, but I still have I still have my motor scooter in South Florida. So I like to cruise around on my little moped back in South Florida. I like to drive down to, like the Venetian Islands and South Beach when it's sunny outside and the weather is nice, and I like that. Um, yeah, I would say those are a couple of things outside of boxing I like. I like traveling. I like going to Japan. I like going to different places. I got like a list. Like recently, I wrote a list of places in America I want to go to, and I wrote a list of places of internationally I want to go to. So hopefully, I get to just do some traveling at some point, like, and go to some of those places. I like going to baseball stadiums. I'm trying to go to all 30 baseball stadiums in America. I've been to, I think, 13 of the 30, so I still got like 17 more to go. So those are a couple of things. I like I've recently, like when I was in Japan. I mean, I've always liked Hajime no Ippo, but I've started watching it a lot while I was in Japan a lot. So I've gotten into that. You know, I like I have a little sister back, back in Florida, and so I'm getting her into tennis. I'm putting her in tennis soon, so I'll be doing that. So yeah, I mean, I live a decent life. What other countries that you traveled to so far? So far in my life, I've only gone to Japan, England, and I went to Nicaragua last year. I was in Nicaragua for a week last year because my friend Eric Lanzis Jr. He had a fight. He had a fight out there last year. He's a 140 pounder, one of my best friends in the world. He was also he was a part of this last training camp for Angelo Leo for the Kameda fight. So good fighter. Just needs to develop and work on some things. And yeah. How did I like Japan? I love Japan. Japan is probably my favorite country that's not America. Everything is cyclical. 160 might seem dead, but the future seems bright in the division. Vito Milnecki, Daryl Valzane, Aaron McKenna, Yuri Zidane, Amir Anderson, Amari Jones, and Eric Priest. I'm not high on Vito Milnecki. Daryl Valzane is promising. Aaron McKenna, I gotta watch more of. Yuri Zidane is solid. Amari Jones is above average, but I don't know if he's like otherworldly, but he's above average. And I haven't watched enough of Eric Priest yet to have an opinion, but I hear good things. So, from what I know about middleweight right now, I mean, there's some decent guys. There's always young talent coming up, but I haven't seen a young talent yet where I can say, you know what, for sure, like, this guy is gonna be something. Like, I'll tell you this: at light heavyweight, Atif Overton, that's the guy I can tell you, like, okay, when Better Be and Bivol drop them belts, and we look at who could be the next top light heavyweight in like 3 to 4 years. Atif Overton is a guy that I look at as being that kind of guy. But I can't say that for like middleweight. But there's good talent. There's always good talent. Have you ever seen an anime? Yes, I've seen plenty of animes. I mean, I didn't grow up liking anime. Like, I wasn't a big Dragon Ball Z fan growing up. I'm still not a big Dragon Ball Z fan now. I mean, it's a classic show, but it's just not my favorite anime. I don't really care for Naruto. The only animes I can tell you that, like, I like all the boxing ones. I like Hajime no Ippo, of course, and then my favorite boxing anime of all time, which I just discovered and I just watched it for the first time while I was out in Japan, is this anime called 1 Pound Gospel. That's my favorite boxing. That's my favorite anime of all time. 1 Pound Gospel. It's like an underground classic. My favorite movie of all time. Since we're talking about shows and cinema, my favorite movie of all time. Well, a couple of my favorite movies of all time are Paid in Full, Napoleon Dynamite, Dude, Where's My Car, Rocky 4, Hackers, and Mr. 3000. Those are like a couple movies that I like to watch.
And I guess you could say
The Pursuit of Happiness. I've watched that a lot too. What are your thoughts on Dave Benavidez fighting Jesse Hart? Is that
official because everybody keeps saying that he's fighting Jesse Hart. Um, I like Jesse Hart. Once upon a time, I was a big Jesse Hart fan.
I still like Jesse Hart, but like I feel like his career's kind of passed him by. So if
They are gonna fight, then
I feel like this is Jesse Hart's last chance
at doing anything in boxing. I know that last June, when I interviewed
Samson Lukowicz,
there were a lot of rumors that Jesse Hart and Dave Benavidez were gonna fight each other. So
that fight was always in the works,
and if they're gonna fight now, then it's not surprising. Casemiro lost an opportunity
to fight. Yeah, it was meant to be. Boxing should do more events in Chicago, BT.
Is it weird that boxing doesn't move events to such
a major city like Chicago?
Yes. Chicago, Illinois is one of the greatest cities in America. I've done my fair share traveling in my 30 years on this earth,
and I would say that Chicago is one of the best cities in the world, and it has one of the highest populations in the world, and it has a really rich fight history. So yes, I don't like the fact that boxing constantly ignores the Chicago markets.
Boxing has been so relegated to a niche sport that we only have the fights in New York and Vegas and LA. Like I don't like that, but it's just where we're at in the sport, and I wish that would change.
Arab Nath says that I should watch
Megalobox. It's also a boxing anime. I've heard of Megalobox. I just haven't sat down and watched it, but I know about it. I've heard of it. Full Metal Jacket, Scarface, Young Guns, Blood In, Blood Out, True Romance. There will be
a couple of good ones. Shout out to the longtime viewer, my man, my main man, 50 grand. Reverse Lee with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you, champ.
He says, how can my friend pursue a boxing career in Japan? The gyms near him suck, so he has 0 fights, but he's been training for about 2+ years and has training footage.
He has money saved and can pay for travel. Good question, man. What part of Japan is your friend from?
Generally speaking,
most of the Japan boxing scene is located in Tokyo. Most of the big gyms are in Tokyo. So, like, even if you're a top fighter like Kenshiro's from Kyoto, which is hours away. But even he has to come to Tokyo to get the best sparring. Even he has to come to the Misako Boxing Gym to get the best sparring. So when he's not in Kyoto, he's always at Misako Boxing Gym. He said he's American. If he's American, because I had a fighter. Like I didn't manage him, but you could kind of call me like an
unofficial advisor of him.
Even though we don't have an agreement or anything, but he does come to me for like advice on stuff. I had a fighter that was from Vietnam who got in touch with me actually through one of these lives. And I put him in touch with one of the gyms there. So I think if he's American, your best bet would be you could tell your friend to get in contact with me, and then I could actually probably put in a good word with him for some of the gyms over there in Japan. What weight class is he? Like, is he just let me know his weight class, because if your friend is anywhere from like if he's in between bantamweight and lightweight, if he's between bantamweight and 140,
they'll have plenty of sparring there for him. He was looking into
Tsutsumi's gym, so that would be Shisei Boxing Gym. That's where
Kazuda Ioka trains.
Yeah, Ioka trains there. Both Tsutsumi brothers train there, and Ismail
Salas is always over there. So,
he's 108 or 112. Oh, that's fine too, because they
got some small ass people there in Japan, so
he can find some sparring. If your friend is in Las Vegas,
my best recommendation is if he can't get to Japan right away,
he should go to Las Vegas, right? Come here to Las Vegas, go to Ismail Salas's boxing gym, and get cool with Ismail Salas. And then Ismail Salas is the connect to get to, like, Japanese boxing, Or he can message me on Instagram, and I know a couple of gyms out there that I could talk to and put in a good word for him. But I need more information. I need, So I think it was Kado AB Gym. Oh, you're talking about Seiya Tsutsumi. Okay, yeah, because I thought you meant Reito Tsutsumi or Hayata Tsutsumi. Yeah, Seiya Tsutsumi. Well, Seiya Tsutsumi, he trains in two gyms. He trains at Kato Ebi Boxing Gym, and he trains at Dagen, Dangan or Dagen. I forgot what the name of the promotion is. Boxing gym. They're like a popular mid-level promoter in Japan. Nice gym, nice facility. I went there one time when Tsutsumi was sparring Saul Sanchez. So yeah, that's a good gym. There's good people in there. Obviously Tsutsumi's a fantastic fighter, so I know Junto goes by there sometimes too. So yeah, I mean, you said he's 24. He's 5'3". Yeah, he can definitely get some work out there in Japan. There's guys out there with him. That size. If you think Dragon Ball Z is sleep, try One Punch Man. I never heard of One Punch Man at all. But shout out to everybody here on YouTube, man. We talking movies, we talking boxing, we're helping the world find their way in boxing. We do it all here on True School Sports. But you know, we're 100 minutes in, so we're an hour and 40 minutes in. So I'm gonna run it for like 2 hours. We'll see what the chat is looking like in about 20 minutes, and then we'll make a decision if we want to continue to make this a long live. Cause I do gotta make this one phone call before I go to sleep. Actually, I gotta make 2 phone calls. Damn. I'll tell him to contact you on Instagram. He lives and works in Virginia. Okay, yeah, tell him to contact me, and we can go from there. I don't mind helping people out, because I know how hard it is in boxing. Yeah, no problem. You know, I use the little bit that I know about Japanese boxing. It's actually not a little bit. It's crazy because I'll tell you guys about it. So tomorrow, I'll tell you guys this. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do another live, and on the next live, I will get into what the calm before the storm is, and I will tell you about what's going on and things like that. But for now, I'm gonna wait for the video I made earlier to come out in about 2 hours. So tomorrow, I'll get into it. But yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Have you seen the Cobra Kai TV series? No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. I don't really watch much TV shows, if I'm being honest. I'm so caught up with boxing and True School Sports and just things beyond True School Sports, helping the fighters out any way I can, that I don't really have time to watch TV. And when I do watch TV, I watch the Panthers. I watch the Florida Panthers. I watch the Marlins. I watch like sports. So that's about it. And then if I do watch TV shows, that means I got like extra time. BT, can we get a call in? We won't probably talk to you for a month. I gotta make one call before I call you, Hyro. So, depending on that phone call, if that person picks up, and if and how long that person talks to me, I will call you after that one. So stay close to your phone after this live is done. Well, by the way, where is everybody watching this live from? How international are we on the live today? You know, I'm in Las Vegas right now. Where are you guys from? We got anybody from Japan here? We got anybody from like England? We got anybody from Florida, New York? Where you guys from? Put your location in the comments down below. I'm in the fight capital of the world. I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada. Moving and grooving, making the boxing shit work. Sade Sofa says, I'm from Turkey. Okay, shout out to Turkey in the building. Avni Yildirim. Shout out to Avni Yildirim. The fighting pride of Turkey. Spain. España. Yes, sir. Barcelona. Pamplona. Spain in the building. Fontana. You know what's crazy? I was actually in Fontana, California yesterday. Because me and Shantatello drove to the PBC press conference. We stopped at a gas station in Fontana. I can't remember which gas station it was. We stopped at a gas station in Fontana yesterday. Tokyo, yes sir. Shout out to Tokyo. Yes sir. While working at the office, yes. Shout out to all the. I gotta give credit to all the Japanese salarymen, man. Them dudes work hard. Office workers. The Hill 77. I'm from good old dirty Myrtle Beach. Myrtle? Yeah, Myrtle Beach. Shout out to Myrtle Beach. What did you think of the Inaway Cardinal stoppage? I think it was the right thing to do. I think people were saying it was premature. I don't think it was premature. Cardenas wasn't throwing back. He kept looking for one shot. And you can't let a fighter get 4 to 5 to 6 punches off,
Plant his feet.
because now you're putting the referee in a position where he will have to wave the fight off. You have to. He will have to. That was like the first thing I learned in boxing. Like one of the first time I've ever sparred in boxing when I was like 18. I was at a gym back in South Florida called Canino's Boxing Gym, right? I didn't know how to fucking box at all. I was scared. You know, you get those nerves. I remember I wanted that spot a pretty experienced guy. You know, he obviously got the better of me because he was like getting ready to. He had a good amateur background, and he was getting ready to turn pro. But I remember he was getting off, and you know I was fighting to the best of my abilities. But I think one time I let him get off like a bunch of punches, and my coach was like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't let someone get 4 punches off on you, or turn your back, because then when that happens, you're putting the referee in a position to stop the fight." So I say that to say that's what happens. That's what happened. Like, Inaway got to plant his feet and land all these big shots on Cardenas, and at that point, if you're Cardenas, you're putting it in the ref's hands, and you don't want to do that. Am I new to boxing? I've only been watching a year. I mean, shit, I've been watching boxing my whole life, and sometimes I feel like I'm still new to boxing. But yeah, 1 year is relatively new. Yokohama, Japan. Ohashi Gym is located there. I know where. Trust me. I know exactly where Ohashi Gym is. I've been there. I think I've been there 2 times, and they've both been interesting experiences. And I'll leave it at that. You know, I know all about Ohashi Gym. Texas in the building. Fontana is ghetto. Fontana is the people who work in LA County that. Yeah. I know Fontana's like on the outskirts. New York. Shout out to Nikita Abibi. What the hell happened to Nikita Abibi? I haven't heard from that guy in a while. Texas in the building. Shout out to Texas. Tallahassee in the building. Actually, yeah, we're okay. Shout out to Tallahassee. We got a global audience here. Yeah, I'm in the fight capital right now, so I would never want to work for Japanese companies. And listen, I hear stories. You know, I spent a lot of time over the last 2 years when I've been in Japan, like taking the trains. So I've seen a lot of these Japanese salarymen when they're like just like sleeping on the train and stuff like that. Like these guys work. These guys work, and then they go drink. He read that you can't fight guys from the same gym in Japan, so he's avoiding Tekken. I'm going to just be honest with you. When it comes to, like, Japanese boxing, you can avoid Tekken promotions to a degree when you're fighting at the Japanese level. Like, at least this is my understanding. You can avoid Mr. Honda and Tekken promotions to a degree when you're fighting at the domestic level. But once you start fighting for the Japanese title, once you start fighting on the world level, you're going to have to deal with them. So it's just kind of hard because they got such a stranglehold on Japanese boxing. Trust me, I know. BT, I saw you on Top Rank with Inaway when he was talking with Donaire. Yeah, a lot of people did. I stood there on purpose because, you know, I wasn't going to be able to, like, talk to Inaway like I want to. So, and I wasn't going to ask for a picture in that setting. So I'm like, you know what? They got the camera right there. I'm going to stand right there and look right into the camera. And that's my new thing now. Like, now, when I see, like, the other big channels or whatnot, if I see a camera and I can photobomb, I'm photobombing. I did it with Inaway. Yesterday, I did it with Rolly when he was crossing the street with Ellie Sekback, and people saw me there. So that's my new shit now, is photobombing videos. What's one of your favorite boxing stories from your experiences in Japan? The Hill 777 says. That's a great question. My favorite experience. It's a lot of them, man. It's hard to pick just one, but I would say, let me see. My favorite experience. That's a lot. It's a lot. That's a lot to sift through. It's a lot to think about. But if I had to pick one, I would say when I went to Seigo Yuri Ikui's gym, because Seigo Yuri Ikui, he was a world champion. He's not a world champion anymore because he lost the title to Kenshiro in what I thought was the 2025 fight of the year. But at the time he was champion, and he was one of the lesser regarded champions because in Japan, like, if you're not from Tokyo or Yokohama or one of the big cities right there, big metropolitan cities, you may get overlooked. And he's from way out west, like way out west. He's from Okoyama, which is, like, if you guys don't know, that's like way out in West Japan. And so I know for a fact a lot of Japanese media probably doesn't even go to his gym. Like, as far as big time Japanese media, they probably don't even go to his gym because I know that when he was doing promotion for the Kenshiro fight, he had to go to Tokyo from Okoyama. So I went to his gym, and it was me and my good buddy, probably my best friend in all Japan, my boy Taihei. We went through, and he's my translator for the majority of my interviews there in Japan. We went there, and it was just such an amazing experience because Seigo Yuri Ikui was so polite and nice to us. Like, all these fighters were nice to us, but Seigo Yuri Ikui was just different. Like, he treated us so great, and they were so welcoming and inviting. And the fact that I got a chance to watch Kenshiro spar and then Seigo Yuri do a whole training session in preparation for their fight, which turned out to be such an amazing fight. That was like just being around those two, preparing for each other and interviewing them both while they were preparing for each other. To me, that was like one of the most special things for me in boxing. So I would say that. What are some underrated boxers I should check out? I've seen that some Japanese boxers are pretty dope to watch. Like, I didn't know about Seiya Satsumi, and I liked him. Yeah, there's a lot of underrated fighters. I mean, I'll keep banging the drum for Angelo Leo, even though he's a world champion, because I still feel he's very underrated. But like him, I would say Ian Green, who was here earlier, he's really good. Atif Oberton from Philadelphia, he's very, very good. You got a lot of guys, man. You got a lot of really good fighters out there in the world. I'm trying to think who else is like underrated. I'm trying to think of somebody that I've seen fight recently on Top Rank or PBC. Yeah, just right now, I'll just say those three. I'll just say those three for now because I can't. I'm drawing a blank, but those are three good fighters that I feel are underrated. I thought he was doing great against Kenshiro, but he faded in the later rounds. Well, he what's funny is if you go back and you watch our interview, he said that the main thing that made Kenshiro so dangerous, because they sparred, they had history, they knew each other. He said the main thing that made Kenshiro so dangerous was his stamina, the fact that he don't get tired. And I watched Kenshiro train. I watched Kenshiro do like 10 rounds when I was in Japan last time. He don't get tired. You may hit him, you may snap his head back. He's not gonna get tired, and his stamina was ultimately the difference in the fight because Seigo was beating him fundamentally. He was a bigger guy. Probably the best version of him that ever fought was that night, and Kenshiro showed his greatness, how great he was, because even on Seigo's best night, he still found a way to win, and that's the mark of a truly great fighter. Brian Norman Jr. might be my favorite American at the moment. Listen, Brian Norman is a very good fighter. I love Brian Norman Jr. I love his attitude. I love his dad's attitude. A lot of people like to say that he's ducking Jerron Ennis. I see it more so as Top Rank doing what Top Rank does and trying to build the fight up. So, I'm not losing any sleep over boots and Brian Norman not happening next because I love the Brian Jin Sasaki fight. I think it's an amazing fight. But yeah, he's a very good fighter. Nikita has a fight coming up in June in Philly on the same card as rising prospect Quadir Albra. Okay, shout out to him.
Evelef says, "Hey, your name is Neil, right? No, my name is not Neil. My name is Brendan. Brendan Taylor, BT, True School Sports, The Untouchable, the Cash Cow Boxing on YouTube. I go by many names. The voice of Japanese boxing in America, the voice of South Florida boxing. I got many names. I got many titles. Do you feel you still need more work to do to get the access for Inaway and Junto after supposedly pissing off someone from Tekken Promotions where they have no choice to invite you to the fight? Do I feel like I have more work to do? Personally, no. I think I should be there, but I understand how things work, so I'll say yes. I think yes. I can definitely tell you it's yes, because I'm not gonna get into it deeply here because this is not the place for it. But all I'll say is I got a really interesting phone call yesterday, and all I can tell you from the phone call is that Mr. Ohashi knows who I am, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt. I can confirm that to you guys. Did I see Kanye West's new music video? No, I didn't, Hyro. What did he say in his new What did he say in his new music video? Hey BT, have you heard of Joe Koizumi? Try to meet him next time you visit Japan. No, I never heard him, but I got my computer right here, so I'm gonna use Google because Google is your friend. Joe Koizumi, sports commentator. I am Joe Koizumi. I have been the Asian correspondent of Ring Magazine. Wow, since 1965. Holy hell. Wow. I am not only a journalist, but I'm also an international matchmaker for Filipino boxers. Okay. This guy's a Hall of Famer. This guy's like a legend. 78 years old. He's on Twitter. Let me go give him a follow and maybe we'll see Mr. Joe in the near future. You know, maybe we'll see. Oh, but he's not active on Twitter. He's not active on Twitter, so I'll have to go find. Is he alive? I mean, he's pretty old, but there's nothing here that says he's dead, so he must be alive. And he sounds pretty interesting, so I'll look into him. Thank you. A bunch of African Americans saying, "Hell, you know who." No, I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about, Hyro. Suarez versus Navarrete predictions. My prediction is a lot of punches. That's my prediction. Leather being thrown, volume punching. I will say, it's not gonna shock me if Charlie Suarez wins. I mean, truth be told, this is the only shot he's got at glory because he's pretty long in the tooth. He's old, but I would say, I'll go Vaquero. I've watched Charlie fight enough. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe Charlie will beat the brakes off him, but yeah, I'll go with Vaquero. Oh snap! Oh wow! Wow! Damn! So guys, I went to go check my my Instagram messages. I can't tell you I got some breaking news about 3 particular fighters. One of them is a former Olympian. No, 2 of them are former Olympians, and the 2 Olympians are also former medalists. And the other one is a top prospect. Apparently, they've signed with TKO Boxing, but I can't disclose who they are. Let me ask this coach who just messaged me if I can disclose who these fighters are. Hold on, guys. Let me respond to this. That's awesome to know. That's awesome to know. I'd love to come by the gym sometime. For sure. My dad really wants to come. Can I make a video about your guys signing with TKO? All right, so look, I just messaged the coach. If he says that I can make a video about it, I will tell you guys the 3 fighters that I was just told have signed with TKO Boxing? Because I haven't seen any news on it. Maybe there is news out there on it, but I haven't seen any news on it. BT, what are your thoughts on North or South Korean fighters? So I don't really know of any North Korean fighters because North Korea is kind of a communist country. I believe it's not like they don't really have no control from what I know. But so I haven't really seen any North Korean boxers. But South Korean boxers, I mean, South Korea has a rich history of boxing. They haven't really had any world champion since Injin Chi, who many of you guys may remember fought Eric Morales. They had one guy at 122 named Jong Song Kang who was top 5 in the WBO, but he lost. He lost to a Japanese guy. So right now they ain't got nobody. The only person they got is Hugh Ming Choi, that cute little South Korean girl that was world champion. That's about it. But other than that, yeah, no South Koreans right now at the top level. But South Korea is a boxing country that needs funding. They need to get their guys involved. Since you've been in the Leo camp and are good friends with them, what's your take on the Kamedas delaying the fight? I have never been a big fan of how they handle business. I think if you want my honest, blunt opinion on it, I think Tomoki Kameda is a coward. I think he's a straight coward. I think that they tried to purposely push the fight back 2 times because if you guys do the math, you guys know the IBF gives you 9 months to defend your title when they order your mandatory challenger. So Angelo won the title on August 10th of last year. So if you do the math, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and then now May. So we're going to go a little bit over 9 months, but the fight was already finalized before the 9 months ended, right? So I think that they were trying to wait out Angelo and then force the IBF to strip him so that he could fight against an easier opponent for a vacant belt. That's my theory, because they've sparred, and I'm not gonna go on here and be one of those guys that gets into the sparring talk. But I know what happened in those sparrings, and he knows it's gonna be a very, very hard fight for him. So, that being said, yeah, he's been playing a lot of games with that. He's been playing a lot of games in other ways with just other stuff, guys, that I don't need to get into on here. But yeah, I remain calm about it. But he's gonna get his on fight night. Don't you worry about that. He's gonna get his. We've definitely not just me, but we've taken some things personal on the team. So he's gonna get it. What else? Do you know an article about Shingo Inaway said he wanted Nail to retire without him losing any fights? No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So if you can reference me the article, I would take a look into it. I met Shingo Inaway. I had a chance to actually meet him. I mean, he didn't speak any English and there was no translator around, but he seemed like a very, very nice guy. Very, very nice guy. And just like Naoya, he dresses very well. I got to give it to him. I cannot hate people that know how to put good clothes together, good outfits together. He was doing this thing when I seen him. Great trainer, one of the best trainers out there. Roy Jones lost to the Olympic final to a Korean in Korea, but that was robbery. Yeah, that was a robbery. So I don't really count that or put too much stock in that. I just know that in the 90s and the 80s and parts of the early 2000s, they had a couple guys that did some good things. So they do have a good history. It's just that from my understanding, because I was curious myself because I knew that South Korea had boxing history, and when I was doing research 8 months ago for the Jong Seong Kang guy at 122, I was trying to figure out why they don't have a lot of fighters at the top level, and the answer that I came across was that the South Korean government and just the boxing infrastructure there, it doesn't get a lot of funding. So there's probably a lot of good I'm sure there's a lot of good fighters in Korea. I mean, I know you got Yi Jun Kim, who's a solid fighter at a decent level, can punch. But there's probably some guys in South Korea that are probably really good, but they're not getting opportunities because maybe the government funding. That happens, man. sometimes and it happens here in America too. Sometimes guys just don't have the right backing. There's a lot of talented fighters out there in the world that either are in a country that doesn't have a lot of resources, or if they're in America, they just don't have the right guys behind them, and that's just
Is what it is. You know, such as life, such as boxing. In boxing, you're as a professional fighter, you're only as good as your team. Young Sean Kang got outboxed by Leonard Sarcone.
and yeah, and then he lost to I think Ryota Owan from Japan.
I think that was the guy's name.
Do I think
Naoya Inoue is trying to surpass Floyd's record.
he's been fighting a lot lately? No, I really don't think that's on his mind.
I don't think he cares about that. I think he actually generally wants to fight good competition and be in big fights, and challenge himself. But then again, it's like, you know, he's not fighting bad fighters, but he's not
Fighting the toughest guys he could fight right now. He's fighting good fighters, but he's not fighting like, you know,
them killers. Because he got Merjon, he got, I mean, Junto was a killer, so
I won't say Junto, but like Merjon and then Ball, like
good fighters, and in some cases, very good fighters, but they're not them killers, man. There's some guys around the way that are killers, and those guys are not killers except Junto.
it's 10, so it's 10:33
Here on the East Coast right now, so I think on that note, guys, look, I gave you guys
solid.
let me see.
I'll go 10 more minutes.
I'll go 10 more minutes. A shout out to Knockout City Freshman. He got
Top fight in the unboxing. I like his name. The guys from Thailand always have their name
at the supermarkets and things like that, so they always get interesting names.
He said, "You got it."
What did I get?
Yeah. Oh, about the article.
The article, yeah. Korea used to produce more world champions than England and Japan at some point. Yeah, no,
I know. I trust me. I know because
I remember. You know, you just go through enough. If you spend enough time on box, like you know, you go through some of these guys' histories. You'll see some South Koreans. Joy Koizumi is the guy who booked Tyson versus Tubbs at the Tokyo Dome in 1988. See, I didn't even know that. That's pretty legendary stuff. So that would be a guy that I'd love to talk to.
when I'm out there in.
Let me shut up. If Guts and Glory says, are the recent
TKO promotion signings Black American prospects? No, they're not. They're not.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. One of them is a Black American prospect,
And the other two are from other countries
that are not America. So I'll leave it at that. And they got a very good trainer. A guy that is a very good trainer, but he's not. His name is not in the headlines. But this guy that I'm cool with, who is a very good trainer, he used to train a guy that was a world champion in the 90s and trained him for his entire career. And I'll just leave it at that. What time did he message me? He messaged me at what time? He messaged me at some time during this live, so
I don't know what time he messaged me, but if he messaged me from now to the time I get out this live, I'll let you guys know who it is. If I get out this live and he doesn't message me, I'm going live again tomorrow. So when I go live tomorrow, I'll tell you guys who the 3 fighters are if I get the okay from him. If I don't get the okay from him, then I'm not gonna do it. Leonard Sarcone and Elijah Pierce are helping Nishida spar for his upcoming match against Junto Nakatani. Yeah, I'll tell you this, man. I wasn't like over the moon about that fight. I mean, it was a good fight, but it wasn't like I wasn't like crazy about it. But when I seen the fact that Nishida brought in Elijah Pierce and Leonard Sarcone, and I think maybe what was it? I forgot he brought an Australian. I don't know if it was Sam Goodman. He brought somebody else in too. He brought in like world class sparring. So Nishida is taking this assignment with Junto very seriously. And then Junto, he's in LA. He's sparring Katsuma Akitsugi, who's a beast, one of the best bantamweights in the world. So these guys are taking this shit like real serious, and I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be an amazing fight. I was thinking the other day, why do you think Skull got the chance to get the IBF, but not someone like Billy? Because Skull he became the mandatory last, what was it, May? I think last May or April he became the mandatory, and Canelo dropped the belt to not fight him.
So he got a title shot by virtue of Canelo dropping the belt to fight Berlanga, and then he won, and then Canelo just won the belt back that he dropped. So that's all that was. Hyrule says, "Is it Coach Jeff from Beta Bay or Stacey McKinley?" No, I'm not. No, it's not those guys, Hyrule. It's not.
It's not any of the main guys that I talked to you about. It's another guy. I know a lot of coaches. I know truckloads of trainers in boxing.
Turkey needs to do something about these boxing organizations. We want one belt with
Decent rankings.
There's positives and negatives to all of it. I feel like the ranking systems, many times they are very flawed. So I'm not gonna dispute that or refute that. But I do think, like in the case of having like
The IBF, they do a good job of bringing some checks and balances into boxing because
ranking systems are there so that
fighters from underdeveloped countries who don't have a lot of resources that fight
proper competition get an equal playing field to get their shot at greatness. That's really what the rankings are.
and it's also to preserve the champions because the champions can't always just fight each other.
You can't just always have the biggest fights happening because then these guys
will beat the shit out of each other and have a short shelf life. So
there's a certain balance that the four belt system
does bring, but there have been a lot of problems for years, and the sanctioning bodies don't follow their own rules. So there is a problem. There are things that need to be corrected, and I'd be disingenuous to try to argue that, right? Now with the TKO Boxing League, I don't like the fact that fighters are going to have like world championship fighters are going to have their pay capped. You know, I don't like that at all. So there's positives and negatives to all of it. Honestly, I don't think boxing will ever fully be organized. And to be honest with you guys, if you look at the history of boxing, going back to like the days of the Italian Mob, Blinky Palermo, Frankie Carbo, these kind of guys, boxing was never meant to be organized. It was always meant to, you know, allow the underworld, the gangsters, the pimps, the outcasts of society, if you will. You know, it was a sport where these figures operate at a high level, right? I don't think that's ever going to change. No matter how much you try to make boxing like corporate America or clean it up to be some sort of Fortune 500 company, I just think boxing,
believe it or not, it actually operates best when it's like that, even if it is fucked up. You know, but at least it's fucked up in your face. Other sports, like soccer, for example, you think it's like a Fortune 500 company and it's organized and it's corporate, but then it's more corrupt than boxing. So would you rather have your girlfriend tell you that she's a whore, or would you rather have your girlfriend say, you know what? Would you rather have your girlfriend tell you she's a whore, or would you rather have your girlfriend say
or act like a good girl, but then behind the scenes she's a whore? Which one is worse?
You know, it's the same thing. It's the same principle in boxing. Nishida is incredibly skilled, but his lack of power will probably be
make Junto more willing to engage.
I don't think Nishida doesn't have a lot of knockouts, but I don't think Nishida's pillow-fisted. I watched him fight. I watched like 3 or 4 of his fights. He's not pillow-fisted. Like, he can also how to place them shots. I don't see a guy that when he hits people that they just take his shot power. And Junto, to be fair, he hasn't really fought the creme de la creme as far as competition. Nishida's the first guy with the skills and the frame to offset some of the things that
Junto's had in his favor recently. So I think this fight's going to go rounds. I think Nishida, I do see some paths to victory for him. And it is a very dangerous fight for Junto Nakatani, honestly. But, I think Junto, if he's able to get in his range, which he should, and land that brick hand on Nishida, he should get him out of there within 9 rounds, I think. Truth be told. Nishida is incredibly...
Shakur, Devin, and Cole... You're funny. 3/4 of a relay team. Calling them runners. Do you consider Manny Pacquiao a PBC fighter? I mean, he's going to fight on the PBC platform against a PBC fighter, and his last fight was on PBC. So, yeah, I mean, at this stage of his career, if he's in a box, he's a PBC fighter. The contract says he's a PBC fighter, so it don't matter what I think. That's facts. That's the objective reality of the situation. So, Al Heyman, PBC. He said that's a crazy analogy. Well, yeah, man, I got these.
It's the truth, though. I mean, I know that's kind of like a very specific analogy, but
that's how I view. That's how I view like boxing, because I always say that boxing's so corrupt, but boxing is corrupt in your face. That's what I like about it.
like for me,
I'd rather a girl just be like, you know what, Brendan? Yeah, I like to go out and go to the club. I like to fool around. I like to do these things. I'm a hoe. Like, that's it. Like, at least with the whores and the hoes, you can respect it. You can respect them because they're being honest. But what you can't respect is someone who acts like they're one thing and they pretend to be another, right? That's just life. I like people that can just that can just unapologetically be themselves, good, bad, or indifferent.
you know,
Better to live uh with the ugly truth than a pretty lie. Yeah, that's like one of the tenets of my life. Like, give me the ugly truth. Don't give me the pretty lie. I want the ugly truth. If it's bad, it's bad. Give me the bad news. Don't say it's good news, then it's really bad news, you know? I think Nishida won't have the durability and the stamina to go 12 with Nakatani. I think he has the. I definitely think he has the stamina for sure. Durability, I don't know. But stamina, I'm not even questioning. He's got good stamina. Um, Now, one thing to watch out with that fight is that both fighters are big for the weight class. They're big, they're massive for the weight class. So I think one of them could be weight drained. Honestly, one of them could come into this fight being weight drained. One of them could have some serious problems making weight. So that's one thing you want to look out for if you're looking at like both fighters in this fight. Is Tank the best of the four kings? They say, even it takes after exposing four kings. Bullshit. I don't like calling those guys the four kings. The four kings were the dudes in the 80s. Hagler, Duran, Hearns, Leonard, these guys. They're the four kings. They're the actual four kings. These guys got put on that pedestal, and they've all proven at some point to be overrated. The only guy that I think has really shown true greatness in his career, like undeniable greatness, is Tio Lopez. All the other guys are either manufactured or have underwhelmed. I think Nishida might be drained. He started at 120. Yeah, I mean, I know for his last fight, because he fought when I was out. I didn't go to his fight, but I know I was following the build-up to his fight, his last fight in Japan. And I know he had a hard time making weight his last fight in Japan, so it's not like the most surprising if he misses weight. Yeah, Corey, that was a really nice flyer that Top Rank did for him. You know, I like the poster too. Yeah, I agree. I never liked the Four Kings. Yeah, no, it's off-putting, and it's a standard that they can't live up to. Like, truth be told, it's a standard they can't live up to, because by the time they started getting called that, you know, when these guys, when Tio and Devin and Shakur, when these guys like 22, they start getting called that, bro. But by that age, Hagler and Hearns, they're already having those fights. Yo, BT, with Inaway in Vegas, I noticed that Najee managed to get an interview with him. I know you've been trying to get him on your channel for a long time. When do you think they'll give you your shot? I don't think they'll ever give me my shot. If you want the honest truth, I don't think they'll ever give me my shot. Because I'm not like in good standing with Tekken Promotions. They don't like me. That's just the honest. That's the honest truth. I'm not mad about it. I'm not angry about it. It just is what it is. Would I like to sit down with Inaway one day? For sure. I think if they just gave me so much as 10 to 15 minutes with Inaway, I think it'd be his best interview of all time. And I think it would really push him forward here in the American market. But Najee, I'm not here to hate on nobody. Like, Najee, shout out to Cigar Talk, shout out to Marcos Vegas, Fight Help. They do a great job covering boxing, right? But those guys they're safe. Like, they're safe. They are, those are safe guys. They're not going to ask certain questions in a way, and those guys are a little easier to control. I'm not. So that's what I think it is. if I may ask, why do they dislike you?
I don't want to get into that. It's a long story that I don't feel like is necessary for YouTube.
But all I will tell you is just that when I went to Japan, I had a particular incident that with a guy from Tekken Promotions, and it caused a big stir. So much so to the point where Mr. Honda and Hideki Ohashi
Literally know who I am, but I didn't do anything.
bad. Like, it's just that Japan has a different culture and a way of doing things. America has a different way, and I did certain things in the American way, and it clashed with the Japanese way of doing things. And that's all I will say. I've been very open with the people from Tekken and other powers that be
In the Japanese boxing community, that I am open.
to sitting down with Ohashi and or Mr. Honda, and they can ask me any
Questions they want, and we can talk as
gentlemen and come to understanding, because I am not here to hurt Japanese boxing. I've done everything in my power to enhance and help Japanese boxing, but I don't want to be off-putting or disrespectful to Japanese culture, so that's why I would like to talk to them. But that has not happened yet. Nothing has been organized, but my door is open. I'm a yes man. They want to talk, I'll be here. What do you mean by easier to control in the context? Well, look,
We're Marcos, Villegas, Najee,
and myself, we all do interviews, right?
right?
Marcos has certain goals and agendas I'm sure he wants to accomplish.
Accomplish in boxing.
Najee has certain goals and agendas he wants to accomplish in boxing. So they may not ask, in a way, certain tough questions about, whatnot. Because what happens is, I'm going to tell you guys this, because
This is the part that people don't see, and I want my viewers to be educated on this.
when Naoya Inaway he's got big time advertisement deals, like endorsement deals in Japan. Like, he's not just a fighter. Like, he's sponsored by NTT Docomo, which is like the T-Mobile of Japan. He's sponsored by Family Mart, arguably the biggest convenience store in Japan. So imagine, for my American viewers,
Imagine if Terrence Crawford right now was sponsored by T-Mobile and
Walgreens or CVS. Those are big time companies, right? And there's many more.
those are just some that come to my mind.
I say that to say that his image is very micromanaged. So they want whatever's out there. They want it to be positive. They want it to be. They don't want certain questions being asked to him. So I know in the media scrum before he came to talk to us
Us in the American media,
Evan Korn from Top Rank told us, "Hey, you guys, don't ask this, don't ask that."
don't ask this, don't ask that.
And I also know that when Inaway did an interview with Marcos Villegas,
What you guys didn't see in that interview was a question that he asked, which I won't tell you guys which question it was.
but Marcos asked Inaway a certain question, and Inaway and the team walked out of the interview, from what I was told. So I just think that they know that I will ask certain questions for sure, and those guys are a little safer than BT, and they don't like me because of stuff that happened in Japan. So that's what it is. But I still love Inaway. That doesn't affect how I feel about him. I think he's a great fighter,
and I'm still having a great time covering his career, and
I hope he continues to do great things. Am I going to be at the Top Rank card on Saturday? No, I won't. I'll be somewhere, but I won't be there. I'll be somewhere, but not there. But good card. Don't ask Naoya about whether he would move up or not. He does hate to be asked that. Well, listen, man. Like, there's questions that every fighter hates being asked, but see, if us, the media, don't ask these questions,
then our viewers are gonna be like, well, you didn't ask tough questions, and then we're the bad guys. So
that's part of the game. That's part of the game. You're gonna have to piss the fighters off sometimes. You're not there to be their friends. Did I see Inaway's Fight Hub interview uploaded the day before? Yeah, I watched all of it. I watched
Najee's interview and I watched Inaway's interview with them.
They did the interview at the Top Rank offices, which are pretty close to where I'm staying right now here in Vegas, and I've been there before, so I know exactly where they did the interviews. They're probably invited there by I'm not gonna tell you guys how I know this, but I know that Marcos and Najee were definitely handpicked because I just know these things. Should you ask top ranked people to do bridge talks with Inaway people with you? I've tried that. Trust me, guys. When I tell you I've tried every option, I mean every option you can think of. I've tried. Like I've tried, and the only option I think I've exhausted every option, so much so to the point where I've made people mad at me. So I'm not really that bothered about it anymore. I'm only talking about it because you guys asked me about it. But my only goal now is just to become so big covering Japanese boxing in America that you know I kind of forced their hand one day. I want to interview every champion in Japan to the point where it's like, yo, you did this guy did an interview with every prominent fighter in Japan, but in a way, Monster, you got to go see BT. That I want to get to that point, but I don't know if that'll ever play out. But if it does, cool. It'll all be because of God and the Lord and not me. And if not, then it just wasn't part of the plan. And I'm not upset about it. It doesn't affect how I see him as a fighter. He's still a great fighter. I still love his fights. He's still someone that's been amazing for this channel and the growth of this channel and great for boxing. So yeah, but I'm giving you guys the real. Like you guys can choose to believe or not believe. But I tell you guys the truth. I don't tell you guys like bullshit. I've never seen that annoyed face. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he was annoyed. Like, bro, you're at 122. There's some really good fighters at featherweight. You're in the American market. There's more prominent fighters at featherweight than there are 122. You should be getting asked those questions. Straight up, you should. Just you don't gotta get mad about it. You just answer the question and just move on. It's no big deal. My man Cobra Kai says Inaway is protected by Yakuza. Maybe, probably. Wouldn't shock me. They're still involved in boxing. They're involved with some people in boxing. But let's say we got any questions, guys? Cause look, we're like over 2 hours in. Inaway is content with low risk bouts. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't like to say what he's thinking because again, I haven't talked to the guy myself. I like to talk to him myself because, I don't want to put words in the guy's mouth because they say when I read articles that translate from Japanese to English, which are always rough translations, and I start getting my own opinions on what I think I'm reading, then they're saying I'm putting words in his mouth. But then I can't talk to the guy because, it is what it is. When is the next live? The next live will be tomorrow night. I'll be live tomorrow night for sure, 1,000%. Why have you always been against Bivol going to cruiserweight? You always shoot it down like Marvin Hagler because he's not. I don't think it's good for him. He can do it. He's got the skills to go up and win and produce and do well as a cruiserweight. But I just think frame wise, size wise, I think light heavyweight's his division. Am I gonna watch the DAZN card tomorrow with Andy Dominguez? For sure. If you're referring to Andy Dominguez, I will definitely check it out because Andy Dominguez he's a friend of the program, man. I love Andy Dominguez, and I want to see him make some strides in his career. I know Andy. We speak on Instagram from time to time, and he's informed me about some very personal things in his life, and I know the hardships he goes through. So I want to see him do well. Speaking of translating, the translator was off. You're talking about Inaway's translator? Good old Nobu. Yeah, he's been a translator for years. He works for Tekken Promotions, which I didn't even realize that he worked for Tekken Promotions up until, recently. So he's been there for years because if you guys go back on this channel, there is this really trash ass interview I did from like 9 years ago with Yoshihiro Kamagai, and I asked him like 2 questions. And he was translating even back then, and I interviewed Yoshihiro Kamagai even back then. So you agree that Inaway's best weight is at 122? He's too small for 126. No, I don't. I don't think. I don't think Inaway's. I thought Inaway's best weight was bantamweight. Honestly, I think 122 is him. I do think it is him pushing
The limit, but I think he's such a great fighter. I think he could, like,
okay. Espinoza is huge, so I'm not gonna fault him or hold a grudge for not fighting
Espinoza because Espinoza is massive. But Jane McDonald was tall and lanky, just like Espinoza, and you fought Jane McDonald.
and he was a good fighter, and you beat the brakes off him. Nick Ball's small, but I'm pretty sure he cuts a good amount of weight to get to featherweight because he's wide. He's got a wide frame
on him. I actually think I don't know this to be a fact, but it is my belief just looking at their bodies.
Because I know what Angelo Leo's walk around weight is. I think Nick Ball cuts more weight to get down on featherweight than Angelo Leo. So I actually think Angelo is closer to Inaway in size than Nick Ball. But that's just my assumption on Nick Ball just by looking at his frame. I think he has to cut more weight off his frame than Angelo Leo does. Because if you look at the objective facts, Angelo Leo turned pro at bantamweight. His third pro fight, he fought as low as super flyweight, and then he went back to bantamweight, and then eventually 122, and now featherweight. So that's actually the fight that he should do, because I know that from what Inaway said his walk around weight is for certain fights, it's kind of close to what Angelo's walk around weight has been for certain fights. So, do that fight. Any news on Lorenzo Medina? It's so funny that you asked that because Lorenzo Medina has been very quiet, and I am worried about. I have been getting worried about him
because that's my friend outside of boxing. But
I think he was supposed to compete in Team Combat League, but I messaged him today, and he said that that he's in good spirits and that life is it's been a tough year, but he's good. He's good. Each individual has his own limit, though. 122 seems to be the limit for him. I personally don't think it is. I think if he doesn't want to take any severe damage, then you stay at 122. But if you really want to push the boundaries and challenge your greatness, you go to featherweight. And you don't got to fight Espinoza because Espinoza is massive. But I think Ball and Leo are fights that you can definitely do because those are fights with guys that are closer to your frame than Espinoza. Make sure y'all smash that like button. It's 11 o'clock now, so I'm going to go 5 more minutes, guys, because I do got to make a phone call. But it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure going live with you guys. Let me see. That video I was telling you guys about is going to drop in 45 minutes. So in 45 minutes, you guys are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And on the next live tomorrow, we can talk about that live on the next live. What the announcement is and what I'm doing and the calm before the storm, what it actually is. So you don't think Bivol is great to go up the cruiserweight? Zota moved up and started at 168. I'm just telling you what I think, man. Could he go up to cruiserweight? I think he's good enough to go to cruiserweight and beat Jao Pataya. But I think light heavyweight's his division. I think certain fighters had their division. Do I think Inaway would be his best at featherweight? No. I think I'm pretty confident he's gonna get beat by somebody up there. But I just think that he's great, and you should always try to push the boundaries. That's my opinion. When is the Leo fight, BT? The Angelo Leo Tomoe Kameda fight will be taking place May 24th, 16 days from now in Osaka, Japan. So it's going to be a momentous occasion. And I hope that I would ask the Japanese fans, if you're out there in Japan, if you can make it out to Osaka, I would ask you guys to go buy tickets and go support them. I'm trying to get more people there supporting Angelo than Kameda, because I know Kameda has a lot of people in Japan who hate him, so I'm trying to make that shit uneven if I can, or at least I want him to have a good amount of support, because he deserves it. What's the latest on El Cuete Akitsugi? The latest that I've heard, I haven't heard anything in terms of fights, but I know that he has been chosen to be one of Junto's sparring partners for the Nishida fight. So he's sparring with Junto. David says Leo's gonna get starched. That's it. It's good to have dreams. It's good to have dreams. It's good to make jokes. You know, April Fools was about a month ago. It's good to have dreams, man, but that's not gonna happen. Not with no Kameda. You know, good fighter. I'm not overlooking him. I'm not trying to put him down, but that's not gonna happen. Um, who's your favorite boxer? Of all time, Roman Gonzalez. Right now,
My favorite boxers are
Kenshiro, Angelo Leo, Nia Inaway, Atif Overton, Ian Green, um, Better BF. Katsuma Akitsugi, him too. And I'm kind of waiting for this guy to retire, but I'm still a Terrence Crawford fan. But he's been pissing me off. Would you bet big money on that Inaway and Leo fight?
I would.
For 1,000%, I would. I've actually never been more sure of anything in my life. You know, and I didn't need to see I didn't need to see Ramon Cardenas drop Inaway to have that kind of confidence.
Lance Light says,
I predict BT in the Sean Z show. Yeah. I mean, technically, if you guys have been paying attention to Sean Tell's channel, we already have a show. You know, I already go on his channel. We already do like fight previews and reactions after these fights. We just did one on my channel, but we normally do on his channel. We did one on my channel for the Inaway fight after the fight. We just did a video. I want you guys to go check it out. Me and Sean just did our second historical fight breakdown. We did one for the 40th anniversary of Hagler
and Hearns.
and then we did one for Corrales and Castillo a couple days ago. So go check that out on his channel if you haven't seen it already. It's great stuff. BT, do you know a guy called Sean on Boxing? He always criticizes you and mocks you for being supportive of Leo. Yeah, I know Sean Boxing. I know good old Sean Newman. He's a cool guy most of the time. I know him, and then there's this other guy on YouTube who won't even get mentioned because he don't deserve it. Because all he ever does is just run his mouth and not go to no fights. But they always say that. But like they're bench they're bench players. Like I'm actually actively contributing to the kid's success, to the young man's success. So you can mock me for my support of Angelo, but like our we've been friends for 5 years. I was, technically, if I really think about it, like I've always kind of been part of the team since the Tremaine Williams fight, because I remember we talked about the Tremaine Williams game plan one time when his dad called me. But like my quote unquote support played a role in him getting like looked at by Pro Box, him winning a world title. Obviously, he's a really good fighter, so he won the world title himself. He did the hardest thing. He did the training. But, I play my little role, so yeah. I can support him as much as I want, because that's number one, that's my friend. And two, he's a very good fighter. And three, we won a world title together. So why wouldn't I support him? You love Aki TV. That's your never. I don't even watch his videos. I mean, if you're gonna clown me, like, okay, if you're gonna clown me, can you at least name channels that I watch? Like, if I don't even watch his videos. How do you feel about Robert Garcia's current stable? Have you been to the new gym in the Moreno Valley? I'm down the street from it. I haven't been to the new gym. I want to go to the new gym. I know some people that work over there. I know my boy Sam Garcia, who trains Ruben Villa and a couple other guys. He's from Salinas, California. I know he works in the gym. There's the guy, I think his name was Chepe. Yeah, I think that was his name. He works there too. Good guy. I met him out Albuquerque back in August. Good guy. I'm cool with Christina Ramirez, his niece. Lovely woman. But I've never been there. Never ever been there. A YouTuber said
You told them you were banned from Japan for recording anyway. I'm not banned from Japan. I'm not banned from Japan. Who? Which YouTuber was that? I'm not, cause I'm not banned from Japan at all. I'll tell you that right now. Have I ever made a call to BDA? No, I haven't, but they do really good work. I like BDA. I've watched some videos in the past. Yeah, let me know what channel that was. I want to know who's out here spreading these rumors that I'm banned from Japan. I'm not banned from Japan at all. In fact, I was getting phone calls last night for people in Japanese boxing. So I don't know how I'm banned from Japan. Nah, you have definitely been an instrumental in Leo's career. The skills are there, but you push him heavy and expect him to keep doing your thing. I mean, it's really all down to his dad, Miguel, who is like one of the best trainers in boxing. But you know, people don't really see Miguel unless I talk to him on camera. Great trainer, smart boxing mind, definitely amazing. Louis Neri would knock out Leo and 4 at 126. Listen, Louis Neri's an amazing fighter. I love Louis Neri, and I would never write him off against anybody because when you got power like that and you punch from angles like that, I mean, you got to always give a guy like that respect. But I don't think he'd stop either guy. I think both those guys are too skilled and have too much size at that weight for him. I think he's better at 122. I don't think the best route for Neri is to be a featherweight. You know, I think he should be at 22. I want to see Neri against Cardenas. I think Cardenas versus Neri, the two guys that knocked down Inaway but couldn't finish the job. That's a good fight. That's an amazing fight. Oh, round one. Yeah, okay. No, round one. I talked to round one. I talked to Edwin. He good. He was actually in the live earlier. No, I told him the story of what happened in Japan. So I mean, I was just telling him that I had a problem with Tekken, but I'm not banned. Like, I'm not banned from Japan. I mean, I got friends in Japan. I got like, so he may have misinterpreted like some of the things I said. Not banned there. It's just I have a misunderstanding with someone. That's all it is. I gotta go watch that video now. Shit, y'all got me curious now. Neri can't make weight. That's like saying Angelo. I don't know if that's true yet, because I mean he fought Kyo Nosuke Kameda, but he's not like ranked at featherweight, so I think he might still campaign at 22. But we'll see. If he's at featherweight, then sure, that's a good fight. I like Neri. I would rather you interview his father to see the boxing mind that he has. Yeah, no, shout out to Shingo. I love the opportunity. Great guy. Yeah, I'm not Johnny Somali. I'm not banned from Japan, guys. In fact, yeah. Kameda is not a nice person. Leo can beat him up for sure. That's the plan. That's the plan, man. We need more Japanese fighters to cross over, even if they're not chance. BT is the bridge. I think so. I'm the bridge, man. So I would like to continue being the bridge on a bigger level. Is Inouye chinny? No, I don't think he's chinny, because if he was chinny, I think he would have got stopped already. I think his defense is leaky and he's fighting bigger guys. That's what I think. I think his defense is leaky and he's just fighting bigger guys. Someone said there is the link. I don't see the link anywhere. How about Espinoza versus Navarrete at 130? That would be a big fight for Mexico. I think that's a fight that's gonna happen at some point. I feel like Top Rank's gonna have Venado at 130. I think Espinoza will be at 130 at some point. They're gonna be doing round robins. And if Eduardo Sugar Nunez wins the title, he'll be in the fold as well. Hell yeah. There is no true power puncher at 122. Well, you can't say that. Cardenas can punch, and he showed that against Inouye, and he's got a pretty good knockout ratio. So he's a puncher. Marlon Tapales is a puncher. But other than that, if I'm looking at the guys in the Merjon's a puncher. Picasso's an accumulation puncher, but it's not a lot of guys I would say are like top punchers. Language barrier stress Naya out with a useless translator. Well, you said the word useless, not me. I do know a lot of people did criticize his translator. So look, if they want a good translator, I know some guys in Japan. I know my boy Tahe. He does a great job on here when we do the interviews. At least that's what the Japanese tell me. Do you think anyone at 126 daring to unify the belts, or are they going to wait for Inaway to be the biggest payday? You know what's funny? That's a funny narrative that started. They say that all the champions don't want to unify, which I don't think is true. I think you can only say that for two of the guys at featherweight. I think Stephen Folin just became a champion, and he doesn't even want to be at featherweight. He's already talking about going to fight with Shockey Foster, so he doesn't even want to be in the weight class. So let's just discard him. He's not waiting for a payday because he's not even trying to be in the weight class. That's number one. Angelo Leo won the title in August, and then I know from being around him and being part of the team, I know that fight was locked in December. Before December, like November-ish, December-ish, that fight was locked in even before it was announced to the public, and it got pushed back multiple times. So he has a mandatory due, or the IBF's going to strip his ass, and Kameda has been pushing this fight back over and over and over again. So he's been locked in with that. So you can't say he doesn't want to unify because he hasn't even had a chance to unify. And then so the only guys where I can truly say they've had the belts long enough to where they don't want to unify are Ball, the teams of Ball and Espinoza. Ball has been fighting nothing but 122-pounders because Ronnie Rios is a career 122-pounder who moved up and was blown up. Doheny, same thing, blown up. And, Inaway and him had the back and forth. So he's probably most likely to get the Inaway fight. And then Espinoza, I like him, and I don't think the problem is him. I think he's down to fight anybody. But Zamfir Promotions, Fernando Beltran, they have their roadmap. They have what they feel is going to make him a bigger star, and they're doing that. So I don't think all these guys are waiting for a payday. I think one of them doesn't want to be in the weight class, and the other one is locked into this mandatory fight, which is a bunch of bullshit because the opponent keeps pushing the fight back. So that's how I see it. That's how I see it. Now, if in a year's time you don't get no unification, like if we get to like this time next year, and you still don't see these fights getting made, then you can say, okay, Angelo doesn't want to unify, these kind of things. But right now, I would say the only guys that you could really say that for is Ball and Espinoza, because those are the only guys that have had the belts long enough to say that for. That knockdown changed Cardona's life. Now he's getting looked at as a measuring tool for Naoya, but that punch was lucky in my opinion. I don't think it was lucky. Anyway, ran right into it. Your favorite YouTuber, Southpaw TV, officially announced he's an Inaway fan. Now, good for him. I mean, I don't really watch him like that. Like, if we're being honest, I don't watch Southpaw like that. I had him on here one time years ago. But good for him. I mean, cool. Like, grass is green and the sky is blue. Like, he realized that Inaway is a great fighter. Cool. Robert Garcia was 77-6 in 2024. 3 champions made in that year, 17 total. He's lapping the other trainers. He's a great trainer. I don't want to say that he's lapping the other trainers. I think there's a lot of great trainers out there that are just as good as him. Some trainers might even be better than him, honestly. You can't just go by the numbers, because one thing about Robert Garcia is a lot of his guys, he's tied in with Top Rank, and a lot of his guys do get favorable matchups and good fights. So, fight for titles, things like that. So, can't just go by the numbers. I think, is he a good trainer? Is he a great trainer? Of course, he's an amazing trainer. But there's guys that I think are on his level, and yeah. Wait, so you had Southpaw TV on your chat before? He was being respectful, or he was talking shit? Oh no, he was cool when he was on here for sure. He was cool. He kept everything pretty cool. He used to message me on Instagram all the time. Like, one time he said I was his favorite channel. Like, and truth be told, most these YouTubers out here that really know who I am, I'm your favorite YouTuber's favorite YouTuber. Like, a lot of these guys know who the truth is, and he's no different. But then I guess like he disagreed with some statements I made about Dea Benavidez, and then he blocked me on Instagram, and did a bunch of talking. So I didn't think much of it. God bless him. Hope he's doing well. I'm glad his channel's doing well. But that's what happened. How smart is Angelo's trainer BT since you talked with him? And his trainer, for those of you who don't know, is his dad, Miguel Leo. I would say in boxing, when it comes to the top 5 most, and I've been around some great trainers. I've been able to soak in a lot of knowledge from great trainers. But he's up there. Like he's up there with Sugar Hill. He's up there with Sugar Hill, because I've been around Sugar Hill a lot. He's up there with Stacey McKinley. I've talked to Robert before, but never like as deeply as the other guys. But I would even say in terms of his IQ for the sport, he's up there with anybody. Miguel can train like anybody. Like he's a great trainer. He built Angelo Leo from the ground up into a 2-time world champion. So, with all due respect to a lot of these other big name trainers, these guys, they don't make big name. They don't build their fighters from the ground up. They get fighters that were already made, got to a certain level, and then they just maybe polish them up a little bit. It's a different ball game when you actually build a guy from the ground up and make him a world champion multiple times over. That really tells you that a guy knows how to train someone. And you guys will be knowing about Miguel Leo in the coming years, because we've conversed and we've talked, and there are preliminary plans, from what I've been told, for him to train other fighters besides his son. But right now, the only fighter he has is his son. But there are some fighters that he's looking at. I'm actually helping him. Like I've suggested a couple fighters to him, so he's gonna have a pretty good stable here in a couple of years. Maybe like 4 or 5 like really good guys to train, and you're gonna be hearing about him in a couple of years. I'll tell you guys, there's some fighters in weight classes that he's gonna be training in. There's a 130 pound. I'm not gonna say names, but there's a 130 pounder that's in camp with us. That's really good. There's a 40 pounder who's really good. There's another guy who I think is 130. And then there's a guy that's 108. There's a guy that's 108 that I think is going to be a world champion one day that is interested in training with us. So if it's going to be crazy. Great trainer. Like I've learned more about boxing from him as a coach than probably anyone. Him and Stacey McKinley. Like those are the 2 guys I would say around as far as trainers. Stacey McKinley Stacey McKinley and Miguel Leo. Those are the 2 I class the highest of the guys that I know. Is Derrick James a bad trainer? Who does he really have anymore? I don't think Derrick James is a bad trainer. I think trainers go through hot streaks. Trainers go through cold streaks. I think he's in a cold streak right now. That's all. Do you think that Boots and Jin can happen as a profitable fight? Yeah. If Jin becomes the first Japanese welterweight champion, hell yeah. People want to talk about aura and these kind of things. Jin got aura. That's a guy that got aura. Listen, I said I was gonna end this live like 10 times already. So look, I'm near 3 hours, so I'm gonna make it an even 3 hours. When I get to 3 hours, I'm ending this live, guys, because I gotta make a phone call, 2 phone calls actually. Elijah Pierce gets put on a stretcher by any top 5 opponent. Tank said he's dog shit. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, David, you've been pretty aggressive in these comments, man. Real aggressive. Do I think Inaway is second guessing moving up after that fight with Cardenas? I don't know. I don't think he's second guessing it because of that. I think he's been second guessing it for a while because he's trying to. If he does go up there, he's trying to get his frame as solid as possible, so that when these guys hit him, he can take it. And that's not a bad idea because he's not a big guy. These guys need to unify 126. I agree. But, if you've been paying attention to my content, because I asked Bob Arum last year about it, he wasn't keen on it. And I asked Bob Arum this past weekend, and he wasn't keen on it. So if you've seen any of my Bob Arum content over the last year about the featherweight division, you would know that, right now, the top-ranked champions ain't going to fight each other. And it's because, I think because of top rank, in my opinion. But that's just me. What does Jin need to do with Boots to win that fight? Because it is hard for me to tell Jin's true boxing IQ, um, what it really is right now. Um, I think Jin has to be. He has to. First of all, I think he's gonna have to be willing to walk through fire and take. Because he's gonna get hit. He's gonna get hit. He's gonna get like pieced up by some big time shots and Boots. So I think he's gonna have to be willing to walk through fire, which I think he will, and be relentless. I would hope that he cleans his defense up a little bit before that fight, but I don't know. He is what he is at this point. I think he has to be Jin. He don't got to reinvent the wheel, but he's got to be Jin. Take the fight to Boots, and just put Boots, because if you look at Boots, right, Boots is not pillow fisted, but Boots is an accumulation puncher. So I think he's gonna have to break down Jin. I think Jin is the more explosive fighter of the two. I think he's the kind of guy that could win exchanges because he's more explosive, as crazy as that sounds. But Boots is obviously the better skilled fighter. So, I like that fight, but Jin has to beat Brian Norman to get that fight. So I'm not gonna look too far ahead. We're getting the announcement. BT done brought up Top Rank. I knew Bob's old ass was on the way out. The company not like, yeah. I think you'll get the announcement in 22 minutes when I get off this live, because that video's gonna drop. I might be in the minority, but Taraji has a weird style. It's just boring to me. Ken Shiro is many things, man, but I wouldn't say he's boring. I'm gonna disagree with you on that one. Salute to BT. Why didn't Top Rank showcase Rais Salim? They had him buried. He fought so early on the card that I didn't even get a chance to watch him fight. He fought before I even got there. So I don't know, man. I'd like to see him fight Nakano. Or Alim versus Carrington would be a good fight too. It was so fun hanging out with you. I hope to see you in person in Japan. One day, hopefully soon. Haney and Shakur are boring. I mean, they've had some boring fights in the past, but they're good fighters. Boots didn't want the smoke versus Virgil, and I don't blame him. Boots, I mean, they want to just keep him at 47. They want to keep Boots at 47. And what I want to know is, like, if Manny Pacquiao does become champion, could they actually get Boots versus Pacquiao? Would Pacquiao actually do that fight? Ali needs to fight Tremaine Williams. Angelo took the fight away from him. Yeah. That might not be a bad shout. Will I be going to the Manny versus Barrios fight? Absolutely not. I'll be in Texas for Bam versus Crawford. Just because it's Manny Pacquiao and he's a big name doesn't mean I want to cover it. It's a farce of a fight, and the better card is in Texas. Does Inaway have to do the boxing of his life to beat Angelo Leo for UBT? In my opinion, yes. I think, if you look at the Cardenas fight, I mean, Cardenas does a couple things similar to Angelo, and he had a lot of success. So, I mean, I already knew that it was a tough fight for Inaway, but that, like, further confirms that I know it's a tough fight for him. Fundura is going to destroy Tim again. We'll see, man. I mean, Tim has a lot to prove. I mean, I like Tim Tszyu. I'm hoping Tim Tszyu can go in there and get the job done, because Tim is good for boxing. My man right here, he's spamming the comments. Casemiro versus Inaway. Casemiro versus Inaway. Casemiro versus Inaway. Casemiro versus Inaway. That ship is sailed, brother. That's not happening. Casemiro ate himself out of that fight. That ain't happening. It was a great fight once upon a time, but unfortunately, it ain't happening. And there's about there's like 10 fights that are ahead of that fight in the queue. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news. You will not be getting Inaway versus Casemiro. But guys, on that note, I really mean it this time. I am going to end this live. So listen, Stay tuned because in 18 minutes that video is dropping. You'll get your announcement. Shout out to all the people out there that support this channel, and you know, thank you guys for all the support during Inaway Fight Week, and thank you for everybody that I met during Inaway Fight Week, and a lot of great stuff coming on the channel. We're gonna break 87,000 subscribers soon, so I'm really excited about that. I'm really just trying to get to 90,000 subscribers because once I hit 90,000, you know, then it's only 10,000 more from the illustrious 100,000 number. Then we can get our plaque, and then we can start planning the True School Sports 100,000 subscriber party. Because I'm gonna throw a party. You know, there's gonna be some beautiful women at that party. I'll tell you that right now. But on that note, guys, you take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take your guys.